I need you to stop what you're doing and listen. Not later. Not after the distractions settle. Now. Because what I'm about to say is not just another message, it's a divine interruption. I'm in the same room as you. Yes, the very space you're in right now is filled with my presence, and you have no idea what's already moving around you. This is not comfort speech. This is holy confrontation. You've been asking if I'm still near, and I'm about to prove it. So don't you dare scroll. Don't you mute me halfway. Don't treat this like background noise. Watch until the final breath of this word, because I will speak things that rewrite your atmosphere. Every second is laced with purpose. Every moment is charged with glory. Stay, child, because if you walk away too soon, you'll miss what you were born to hear. My beloved child, hush the noise of your surroundings and the whirlwind of thoughts in your head. This is not a casual moment. It is not fleeting or random or imagined. It is divine. It is deliberate. And it is happening now. Right now. While your eyes read these words and your chest rises and falls with every breath, I am here. Not just watching. Not just thinking of you from a distance. I am in the same room. The very room where your pain has echoed in silence. The room where your prayers have been whispered between tears. I am standing beside you with the full weight of my glory, yet with the tenderness of a father whose love cannot be measured. This isn't poetic imagery. This isn't some comforting thought crafted to make you feel better. This is the truth, your reality, and it's more real than the chair beneath you or the walls surrounding you. My presence is not far off. It is not a hope or a way. It is here. I have stepped in not because something went wrong, but because something had been set right. The time, the alignment, the call in your spirit, they've all merged into this sacred second. And I chose this very breath to make you aware. You are not alone. You've waited for my voice, hoping for signs in the sky or miracles that shout with thunder. But child, I'm not just a God of spectacle. I am the God of stillness, of breath, of intimacy. And I chose to step into your room with quiet majesty because I wanted you to feel me before you saw me. I didn't send a messenger. I didn't tap someone else on the shoulder to comfort you. I came myself. I've watched your soul grow weary with wondering if I left, if I grew distant, if perhaps you did something wrong that made me turn away. But hear me. Not only have I never left, I have been leaning in, waiting for your spirit to be still enough to notice that I was here all along. My child, what you're feeling right now is not just emotion. It is encounter. It is the brush of eternity against time, the echo of my voice that never stopped speaking, even when your ears couldn't discern it. You were never waiting for me to arrive. I was waiting for the silence to become deep enough that your heart could hear the truth. I'm in the room. And when I step into a space, it becomes sacred. It becomes holy ground. So take off the shoes of performance. Lay aside the garments of guilt and shame. Stand, or weep, or kneel, however your soul must respond, but do it knowing this. You are not entertaining a fantasy. You are experiencing the nearness of your Creator. And I did not come to visit. I came to stay. My beloved, I've listened to every whisper that trembled out of your chest when you thought no one was awake. I've seen your face pressed against the tear-soaked pillow, your voice too fragile to rise above a whisper, and yet, that whisper was thunder in my ears. You didn't realize it, but every syllable you've spoken in pain became a sound that shifted heaven. You may have cried yourself into sleep thinking I was distant, but child, I was right there. I didn't just hear your words, I felt the ache behind them. I didn't need volume to be moved. I needed your honesty. And oh, how you've been honest with me in the darkness. You never had to shout for me to hear you. You never had to write the perfect prayer or quote a single verse to capture my attention. You simply had to be real, and you were. In your weakness, I leaned in closer. In your trembling vulnerability, I drew near with all the tenderness of a father who never grows weary of his child's voice. I was never looking for performance. I was waiting for the rawness of your heart, and you gave it to me. I want you to know that I didn't stand back, watching you suffer from some distant heaven. No, I came down and sat beside you. I was in the quiet corner of your room, closer than your own breath. I watched the war behind your smile, the exhaustion behind your routine. And while the world saw someone strong, I saw someone carrying too much alone. And that's why I chose this moment, right here, right now, to tell you, you don't have to carry it alone anymore. I'm not waiting for you to clean yourself up or finish your breakdown so I can step in. I already have. My robe is brushing the broken places on your floor. My hand is resting on the parts of your heart that ache silently. This is not figurative, child. This is me, Emmanuel, God with you, seated in the room, feeling the temperature of your sorrow, wrapping myself around the chill of your loneliness. You thought, if God really loved me, wouldn't I feel him? And I say to you, you have felt me, in the moments when strength surged for no reason, when peace quieted the chaos without warning, when tears fell but didn't destroy you. That was me, not a metaphor. And we. So listen closely now, because I'm speaking straight into that place inside you that still wonders if your voice matters to me. I'm telling you not as a distant king, but as the one sitting at the foot of your bed right now. I have heard every word, even the ones you were too afraid to say out loud. Even the words you whispered to the ceiling at 3 a.m., hoping someone, anyone, might be listening. I didn't just hear them. I caught them. I stored them in the archives of heaven as holy. Not one syllable was wasted. Not one question went unnoticed. Not one ache was too small for my concern. You need to know this. When others dismissed your struggle, I archived it. When others ignored your pain, I engraved it. And when you thought no one saw what it cost you to keep trusting me, I saw everything. I don't forget what you say in private. In fact, the things spoken in secret have the loudest impact in my kingdom. Because the prayers born from pain are the ones that shift atmospheres. And yours, beloved, have not only moved me, they've moved what you can't see. You thought I was silent, but I was answering you in realms beyond your comprehension. Before you even opened your eyes today, I was already here, waiting, preparing, anticipating this encounter. Before the weight of this world pressed its fingerprints on your shoulders again, I had already written my fingerprints across the timeline of your day. Nothing you've experienced today was unknown to me. Not the weariness, not the disappointments, not the aching silence you've grown used to. I saw it all coming, and I positioned this moment as a divine collision between your desperation and my sovereignty. You didn't just stumble into this message. You were summoned. You were drawn by an invisible cord of grace, one I've been tightening around your heart slowly, gently, lovingly, until you could no longer ignore the tug. A tug, beloved, was me. I've orchestrated this exact breath, this very second, this quiet room, this screen before you, because I needed to say something that all your noise, all your striving, all your survival could no longer drown out. You are not invisible to me. You may have felt ignored by people, overlooked by opportunities, bypassed by blessing, but child, never once have you been forgotten by me. I have etched your name into the folds of eternity. It doesn't fade. It doesn't slip through the cracks of divine memory. You are not lost in the crowd of my creation. You are the focus of my attention. You are the subject of my orchestration. And this moment is not just a passing comfort. This is divine proof that I still write your name in places the world cannot access. This is heaven's handwritten reminder that you matter more than you've dared to believe lately. I didn't allow you to feel the weight of loneliness to punish you. I allowed it so you could finally distinguish the counterfeit from the real. And this, what you're feeling right now, this holy interruption, this sacred warmth stirring deep in your chest, this is the realest thing you've encountered in a long time. This is the voice of the one who never left. Let me be clear, my child. I did not abandon you in the hallway of heartbreak. I walked those corridors beside you. I held your hand when you felt it go numb. I steadied your knees when they buckled under the burden of unanswered questions. I was there in every why, in every how long, in every sigh that didn't make it into language. The enemy has tried to convince you that your invisibility means irrelevance. But I say to you, your hiddenness was intentional. I was shielding you while I prepared you. I was hiding you while I healed you. I was quiet, not because I forgot you, but because I was preparing the platform upon which your purpose will stand. And I couldn't let premature eyes see what I was still perfecting in secret. But now, the veil is thinning. Now, the silence is giving way to sound. And now, the unseen becomes undeniable. I'm not just reminding you that you're not alone. I'm proving it. With my presence, with my power, with a moment so saturated in me, it will become the cornerstone of your next chapter. This is not the end of your waiting. This is the turning of the page. My beloved, the atmosphere around you is not still, it is saturated. Saturated with glory. Soaked in the scent of breakthrough. Thick with the weight of what has long been prophesied over your life. And though your natural senses may still be trying to catch up, your spirit already knows. It recognizes the rhythm of my footsteps, the quiet combustion of the divine in motion. That stirring you felt in the stillness. That unexplained ache that rose in your chest when nothing around you seemed to warrant it. That wasn't anxiety, it was awakening. I have entered the room, and with me comes the tremble of transformation. I don't step lightly when I step in love. And for you, beloved, I stepped in with thunder disguised as tenderness. Every cell in your being is reacting, even if your mind doesn't know how to name it. That heat behind your eyes, the inexplicable pressure in your chest, those aren't random. They're resonance. Your soul is echoing the presence it was designed to long for. I am shifting the atmosphere not with noise but with weight. Not with a scream but with sacred stillness. When I move, it's not always loud, but it is never small. The weight of my glory settles like thick dew on dry ground. It sinks into the places where you felt barren and breathless. This is not imagination. This is incarnation, the Word becoming presence, not just in the world but in your world, in your very room. The temperature of your circumstance is changing, not because conditions are perfect, but because I showed up. You've been asking when will something finally shift? And here's my answer. Now. Not next year. Not when you're stronger. Not when you have more faith. The shift begins not when the world makes sense, but when your spirit begins to sense me. And child, it already has. Your inner world is vibrating with anticipation because heaven has descended, and it's not leaving empty-handed. Don't be surprised if things begin to feel unfamiliar. The shift doesn't bring comfort first, it brings contrast. What once felt safe may now feel suffocating. What used to satisfy may suddenly seem stale. That's not a sign that something is wrong. That's a sign that you've changed. The old wineskin cannot contain the new wine. I'm expanding your capacity by stretching what's been too tight for too long. Yes, the ground beneath you is moving. Yes, the air around you is charged. Yes, the ache in your spirit is real. But none of it is chaos. It is consecration. I'm not disturbing your world to destroy it. I'm disrupting it to deliver you into something deeper. Something designed. Something drenched in the details of your destiny. I didn't come to tickle your emotions. I came to till the soil of your calling, to break through the hardened places and make room for the seeds I've planted to erupt and bloom. So do not fear the shift. Do not retreat from the shaking. This isn't the enemy rattling your cage. It's me rattling the chains. Chains of disappointment. Chains of delay. Chains of diminished dreams. I'm not here to ask for permission. I'm here to possess what is mine. And you, beloved, are mine. Fully deeply, irrevocably. The atmosphere knows it. The angels surrounding you know it. The enemy knows it. And now it's time you remember it. When I step into a room, things must bow. Fear must flee. Confusion must dissolve. Hope must rise. That's the climate of my presence, and it is the climate you're breathing in now. This is not a metaphor. This is manifestation. This is me, interrupting the rhythm of the world around you to restore the sound of heaven within you. Feel it. Hear it. Receive it. The shift has begun, and it has your name written all over it. You've called it anxiety. You've named it panic. You've tried to silence it with distractions, drown it in noise, suffocate it with logic. But child, that tightness wasn't a threat, it was a tauth, a holy touch, a divine disruption. You weren't losing control. You were coming into alignment. That pressure in your chest wasn't the world closing in on you. It was your spirit expanding, stretching, breaking open under the weight of awakening. You weren't being crushed. You were being called. You see, when my presence gets close, your body responds. Your breath stutters, your thoughts scatter, your heart begins to pound because it's sensing something deeper than intellect. That's not chaos. That's contact. Heaven colliding with humanity. Eternity brushing against your temporal mind. And it's me. It's always been me. The ache, the weight, the sudden rush of unexplainable emotion. Those weren't symptoms of disorder. They were signals of divine order returning to the places inside you that have been crying out for me. You keep looking for peace to feel like stillness. But peace is not always passive. Sometimes peace presses in, stirs you awake, and confronts the slumber of your spirit. I didn't come to numb you. I came to ignite you. To provoke the part of you that stopped feeling, stopped hoping, stopped believing I would actually show up like this. And so I used what you called anxiety as an alarm clock, not to torment you, but to tenderize you. The heaviness wasn't punishment. It was preparation. You were feeling pressure because I was placing my hand on your heart. Not to weigh it down, but to rewire it. To recalibrate your capacity to sense me again. This world has dulled your sensitivity, desensitized you with endless distractions and shallow answers. So I came closer. And when I did, everything inside of you began to respond. Not with terror, but with tremble. A holy trembling. The kind that awakens dry bones and quickens dead places back to life. And now that you know, child, stop calling what's divine by the names the world has assigned. This isn't panic. This is presence. This isn't breakdown. This is breakthrough. I'm not attacking you. I'm awakening you. And the awakening begins in the body before it ever reaches the mind. You didn't need to understand what was happening to you to be changed by it. What mattered was your willingness to stay, to breathe through it, to cry through it, to trust me in the middle of it. And you did. You stayed. You did shut me out, even when you did recognize it was me. And now, here we are, in the aftermath of that pressure, in the soft space of revelation. I was never trying to scare you. I was simply shaking loose the numbness that had settled on your soul. I came for your heart, not just your head. I came for your nearness, not your performance. And now I want you to embrace what you've been resisting. Let the tears fall. Let the breath come deeper. Let your hands open. The pressure has shifted into presence. The ache has transformed into access. And the same weight that once overwhelmed you is now the glory resting on your shoulders. You didn't imagine this. You didn't exaggerate it. You survived it, and now you are being transformed by it. Because I didn't just let you feel me. I let you carry the evidence of my presence. That evidence will stay with you. It will become your discernment. It will become your direction. And most of all, it will become your reminder that even when it felt like everything was caving in, I was caving in the walls that once kept you from me. My child, I know what it's felt like lately, like you've been walking through rooms dimmed by delay, corridors clouded with confusion, days draped in shadows. You kept looking for the light, hoping it would break through the cracks of your routine, waiting for a sign, a flicker, a spark. But you began to wonder, was it always this dim? Or did the light simply leave me? And I lean in now to tell you this. The light didn't leave. It was shielded, preserved, hidden for the holy hour when your heart could hold it again without fear. And that hour is now. The light you thought was fading is about to blaze again. But this time, it won't flicker in and out. This time, it won't dance on the edge of uncertainty. This time, it will flood your world with brilliance. It will be brighter than you remember, not because the light has changed, but because you have. You've been tempered by tears, sharpened by silence, and prepared by perseverance. You don't need the soft light of reassurance anymore. You're ready for the glory glow of revelation. This light, my light, doesn't just illuminate your path. It restores your identity. It reminds your soul that it was never meant to survive in darkness, but to shine, to shimmer, to reflect the radiance of the one who formed it. You are not just a recipient of light. You are a carrier of it. And the reason you felt the ache so deeply when the light seemed to dim is because your soul remembers Eden. It remembers the unbroken fellowship, the walking together in the cool of the day. That's what's been stirring inside of you. Not anxiety, not emptiness, but an ancient ache for nearness. And I say this now, my nearness does not bring pressure. It brings peace. Not a passive peace that settles for survival, but a roaring, radiant, resounding peace that rebuilds what was broken. It doesn't whisper, it roars. My peace walks into the battlefield of your emotions and silences every lie with a single breath. My peace doesn't ask your permission to heal. It simply enters and establishes itself like a kingdom reclaiming lost territory. You've been measuring your life by how long the darkness has lasted. But I'm measuring it by the depth of light that's about to be revealed. Your midnight is not a monument. It's a setup. The darkness was never permanent. It was only there to create contrast. So when my light breaks in, it won't just change your surroundings. It will transform your soul. So don't flinch when the brightness returns. Don't shield your eyes from the very thing you once begged for. Let it in. Let it warm your frozen places. Let it flood the corners you thought were too far gone. The cold seasons did not kill your calling, they clarified it. And now, my light is coming, not as a trickle, but as a tidal wave. Brighter than your past, stronger than your pain, warmer than the love you lost. This is not recycled comfort. This is resurrected communion. And it begins with one simple truth. I never left. I never withdrew. I never turned my face away. I've been walking with you through the shadows, not because I needed you to suffer, but because I needed you to learn to discern me even when the lights went out. Now, child, look up. The dawn is breaking, and it carries your name. You've asked me over and over again, God, if this is real, you give me a sign. You wanted something obvious, undeniable, unshakable. Something that couldn't be dismissed as coincidence. You didn't want comfort, you wanted confirmation. You didn't need another inspirational word. You needed a divine interruption. And beloved, here it is. This moment, this breath, this encounter is not another message. It's not another nice idea. It is me. I didn't send a signal. I didn't delegate this delivery. I didn't whisper it to angels or drop it in shadows. I came myself. Because what you're walking through is too important for second-hand revelation. I came to meet you in person, in spirit, in the sacred intersection between your question and my answer. You stood at the crossroads of doubt and desire, whispering prayers you were scared to say out loud. You wanted to believe. Oh, how you wanted to. But you were afraid to be wrong again. Afraid to get your hopes up only to see them dashed. Afraid that maybe this wasn't really me speaking after all. But I tell you now, with thunder behind every syllable and tenderness in every pause, this is me. And I'm not just responding to your need. I'm fulfilling a promise. You asked for clarity, and clarity doesn't always come through clouds parting or stars aligning. Sometimes it comes through a sacred whisper that pierces deeper than sound. Sometimes it comes when your spirit knows before your mind can understand. And that's what's happening now. The heat behind your eyes, that pull in your chest, that tremble in your soul that refuses to settle. That is me, confirming what you already suspected deep down but didn't dare believe. I am speaking, and you are hearing me rightly. You thought, maybe I'm just making this up. You're not. You thought, maybe it's just wishful thinking. Is it? I am confirming what you've only had glimpses of until now. I'm coming close not to demand, but to validate. I'm removing the fog. I'm removing the need for middlemen. I'm speaking to you, directly, intimately, undeniably. And I'm doing it because this season of your life requires precision, not guesswork. You can't afford to hesitate anymore. You can't afford to walk half sure, half doubtful. And so, I stepped in, not with suggestion, but with certainty. I am speaking, and you are hearing. And let me tell you this, I would never train your spirit to hear me, only to confuse you. I would never teach you my tone, only to speak in riddles. No, beloved, my voice is becoming familiar. My presence is becoming your compass. And you don't need to explain that to anyone else. I didn't come to convince the crowd, I came to confirm your calling. So breathe. Stop asking for another sign. Stop questioning if this moment is holy. It is. I've surrounded it, saturated it, sealed it with the signature of heaven. You don't need to wait for lightning to strike or fire to fall. The confirmation you asked for isn't coming from outside. It's rising from within. Because the one who called you is the one who confirms you. And I am here, with you, in you. around you. This is not the voice of motivation. This is the voice of the Messiah. This is not another word of hope. It is a decree from heaven. What you've been sensing, I now say aloud. Yes, it's me. Yes, I'm calling. Yes, you're hearing rightly. Yes, this is the time. And yes, I came myself, because you're worth the journey. You may have grown so accustomed to being left behind, to being overlooked, to doors staying closed, that you almost expected me to do the same. But I didn't. I don't knock when the door is already mine. I don't wait to be invited into the very heart I created with my own hands. I don't hesitate when my child is hurting. I enter, without permission, without warning, without apology. Because when love is this deep, it doesn't stay on the sidelines. And child, I need you to hear this. I didn't just show up. I moved in. I stepped through the atmosphere with intention, carrying not just comfort, but covenant. Not just compassion, but command. You didn't even know how close you were to breaking, and that's why I broke through first. I interrupted your spiral. I intercepted your collapse. I entered not as a visitor but as the victor, the one who wars for what belongs to him. And you, beloved, are mine. I don't leave mine in storms unshielded. I don't abandon them to the accusations of the enemy or the isolation of the midnight hour. I come armed with presence. I come soaked in mercy. I come clothed in justice. I step into the battlefield that fear erected around you, and I declare, this ground is no longer a war zone. It's holy. You didn't summon me with polished prayers. You didn't even call me by name. But I came anyway, because I saw what you couldn't say. I heard what never left your lips, and I knew that delay would be defeat. So I overrode protocol and descended into your very space with the full weight of heaven's authority. This is not poetic. This is personal. This is not a dream. This is divine reality. I didn't need your invitation because your ache was loud enough. The groan of your spirit summoned me more powerfully than any formal request ever could. And now that I'm here, truly, fully, undeniably, I need you to stop apologizing for being needy. I want you to stop feeling guilty for falling apart. I didn't show up because you had it all together. I showed up because you didn't. I didn't wait for your posture to be perfect. I came because your pain was prophetic. It was the proof that your heart is still alive, still open, still reaching, even if your arms were too tired to stretch. You are not an afterthought. You are not an obligation. You are not a burden I reluctantly carry. You are my beloved, my priority, my joy. And when you started to lose your grip, I tightened mine. When you started to fade, I came with fire. When you couldn't stand, I stood over you with a shield of my name. That's who I am. Not a distant deity waiting for performance, but a relentless father who rushes into rooms no one else dares to enter. So don't ask me if I'm staying. Don't wonder if I'll retreat. I didn't come to visit. I came to abide. I'm not peeking in through the window of your heart hoping you'll let me stay. I've already made myself at home in the places you thought were too messy to be holy. And listen, the reason I didn't knock is because I never left. I've been here, silent, maybe, but never at scent. Waiting, yes, but never walking away. I don't leave mine. I don't lose mine. I don't overlook mine. You may feel lost in the world, but you're found in me. I came to remind you. I came to rescue you. I came to remain. Oh, my precious child, how often you've wept in silence, smiling with cracked lips and trembling hands. You didn't let anyone see the war behind your eyes. You kept functioning when you were falling apart inside. You put on strength like a borrowed garment, hoping it would last just long enough to get through the next conversation, the next obligation, the next unbearable day. And while others were applauding themselves for victories they shouted aloud, you were fighting in the shadows. Alone. Undervalued. Uncelebrated. But not unseen. Ever unseen. I watched every single step. And not as a passive observer, but as a weeping witness. As a father who never took his eyes off his child. Every silent tear was a declaration of faith. Every hidden breakdown was a burnt offering on the altar of surrender. Every time you chose not to quit, even when quitting made the most sense, heaven paused and wrote it down. Yes, I have a record. Not of your mistakes, not of your missteps, but of your moments of obedience under pressure. You kept walking when your legs ached with despair. You kept speaking life when your own mouth wanted to taste bitterness. You kept extending grace when your heart was bruised by betrayal. And I didn't just notice. I honored it. I archived it. I documented every defiant act of faith you perform in secret, when no one was watching but me. Do you know what that makes you? Not weak, not foolish, but dangerous. Because those who keep walking without applause are the ones I trust with assignments that require integrity. You didn't perform for attention. You persevered for purpose. And child, I saw it all. The quiet battles, the muffled cries, the MOKs that hit a breaking heart. You were never faking, you were fighting. And now, it's time for the reward that doesn't come in stages, it comes in suddenness. Because with heaven record, heaven responds. I'm not letting one tear go unredeemed. I'm not leaving one sacrificial yes unnoticed. Your loyalty in obscurity is what has activated visibility. You thought I was waiting for a better version of you to bless, but I was waiting for the perfect moment to release what your hidden faith made room for. This isn't a delayed response. It's a designed release. And what's coming now is not a single answer to a single prayer. It's a divine avalanche of long-held promises, stored behind the veil until your spirit could carry their weight without crumbling. What you did quietly, I'm about to honor publicly. What you gave up in private, I'm about to replace in ways that leave no room for doubt. So stop rehearsing the moments you thought were meaningless. Stop thinking your obedience was wasted because no one noticed. I noticed. I noticed when you stayed loyal while being overlooked. I noticed when you forgave without receiving closure. I noticed when you believed when belief felt like a mockery. And child, I am the God who keeps receipts. I'm the one who weighs tears heavier than words. I am the Father who turns hidden obedience into historic outpouring. You were never passed over. You were preserved. You were never denied. You were divinely documented. And now, heaven is cashing in every tear. The scroll is being opened. The season is shifting. And the steps you thought were invisible are the very ones I'm now using to build your elevation. Oh, my precious one. Let me tell you something that religion may have whispered wrongly. I don't require a clean room to enter. I don't wait for spotless floors and perfect prayers. I don't hesitate at the sight of chaos. I don't flinch at the sound of weeping. I don't recoil from disorder. I don't require silence. I don't demand excellence. I come for the mess. The very mess you've been trying to hide from me. That's the exact address I was drawn to. The room doesn't scare me. The tears don't stop me. The unmade bed, the unopened bills, the anxious energy in the air, none of it makes me turn away. In fact, that's where my love shines brightest. Not in sanctuaries made of stone and stained glass, but in the broken spaces where you thought no holy thing would dare step. You've tried so hard to tidy your soul, to mop up the grief, sweep away the guilt, organize the trauma into tidy little boxes so it wouldn't offend me. But child, I'm not offended by your pain. I'm drawn to it. You think I only dwell in places with peace, but I create peace in places where none can be found. You think I need quiet to speak, but I speak through storms, through sobs, through screams. You think I wait for order, but I hover over chaos, just like I did at the very beginning. In the beginning, the earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. And yet, there I was, moving, hovering, speaking light into darkness, form into formlessness. And what I did in Genesis, I am doing again now, in your life, in this room. I've come to hover over the mess, not because I'm helpless, but because I'm about to reshape everything. Don't let the enemy lie to you another day longer. Don't believe the whisper that says you must fix yourself before you feel me. Don't fall for the falsehood that says your imperfection disqualifies you from my presence. It's your honesty, not your hygiene, that draws me close. I don't need your perfection. I long for your permission, not to enter, but to heal. Because I'm already here, already near, already holding space for you to break. I'm not here to critique the chaos. I'm here to consecrate it. I'm here to declare that what was once a battlefield is now a birthing room. The pain is real, but so is my power. The grief is deep, but so is my grace. The brokenness is raw, but so is my restoration. I am not turned off by the clutter of your soul. I am turning the clutter into covenant, the disorder into destiny, a mess into a miracle. So drop the act. Let the mask fall. Let the tears stay on your face instead of wiping them away like they're shameful. There is no shame here, only Shekinah, no disgrace, only glory. I came knowing full well what I'd find, and I didn't flinch. I stepped in fully, joyfully, willingly. Because your mess is not a barrier to my love. It's the canvas I chose to paint my mercy on. This room, as it is holy ground. Not because it looks clean, but because I've entered it. And where I dwell, holiness follows. You don't need to clean the room for me. Just claim it as the place where your restoration began. You've tried so hard to say the right words, to pray the right prayers, to hold your posture like a disciple and hold your emotions like a soldier. You've rehearsed your faith like lines in a script, afraid that if you miss a cue, I might miss you. But child, stop performing. I'm not here for a show. I'm not drawn to eloquence. I don't respond to perfect phrases. I respond to presence. Yours. Revealed. And mine. Here. Surrounding you like sunlight seeping through the cracks of every broken thought. I didn't come to be impressed. I came to be close. You don't have to convince me to love you. You don't have to posture like you're confident. You don't have to perform like you're strong. I don't fall for acts. I fall for honesty. I fall for humility. I fall for the real you. The one beneath the armor, beneath the mask, beneath the noise. I didn't ask for perfect words. I asked for open wounds. And you gave them to me. When you sat in silence, when you whispered nonsense between sobs, when your prayer sounded more like groaning than grammar. That's what moved me. That's what magnetized my presence. Not a politician, but a posture of surrender. I'm not a CEO waiting for a presentation. I'm a father reaching for his child. You can fall apart mid-sentence. You can pray the wrong way. You can weep and stutter and say things you don't even mean. And I will still be here. Still loving. Still listening. Still leaning in. Because I'm not grading your prayer. I'm gathering your pain. I'm bottling every tear. I'm interpreting every breathless gas. I don't need your language. I already know your longing. Do you know what's holy to me? It's not your perfection. It's your presence. It's the fact that you showed up. That you didn't quit. That you brought me your bruised belief and your half-hearted hallelujahs. And let me tell you something profound. Even your smallest act of staying is sacred. You think you're barely making it, but I see a warrior still standing. You think you're failing in faith, but I see a heart that keeps choosing me through every storm. And that's all I've ever asked. Not your performance, but your permission. Your willingness to let me be God, even when you don't feel holy. Especially then. It's when my grace drips thickest. That's when my voice grows loudest. That's when my nearness becomes not just theology, but touch. So now, let's drop the act together. No more pretending. No more spiritual gymnastics. No more trying to earn what has already been given. I came for presence, and I got what I came for you. Not your resume of righteousness. Not your record of wins. You. Sitting in this moment. Breathing in my grace. Leaning into my love. That's enough. That's always been enough. I didn't walk into your room to watch you perform. I came to pull you close. Close enough that my heartbeat quiets your anxiety. Close enough that your brokenness begins to believe in beauty again. Close enough that you finally understand. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for you. And now that I've found you here, I'm not going anywhere. There have been days when my silence felt suffocating. I know that. Nights when the void screamed louder than your prayers, and you wondered if I had gone quiet because you had done something wrong. You searched your memory for what you could have missed, what sin or slip might have sealed my mouth. But child, hear me now, my silence was never abandonment. It was strategy. It was sacred. You see, I've been closer than you ever imagined, not watching from above, but woven within. I've been speaking, not in the noise of the world, but in the subtle language your spirit knows instinctively. The chills that came from nowhere. The sudden stillness in your storm. The deep sigh that felt like a release you didn't know you needed. That wasn't coincidence. That was communion. That was me. You thought silence meant distance, but silence was actually depth. It was in the quiet that I was tilling the soil of your heart, pulling up weeds you didn't know had taken root. It was in the hush that I was rebuilding your discernment, teaching your soul to tune into frequency, not volume. I wasn't ignoring you. I was training you. Not punishing, but positioning. Because where I'm taking you next, you cannot afford to depend on the noise. You must hear me when others hear nothing. You must sense we when others sense absence. You must walk by the whisper and not by sight. And so I brought you into the hush, not to harm you, but to hone you. I hid my voice in the folds of your breath, in the patterns of your tears, in the scriptures that lit up only when your hands were shaking. I spoke, not to your ears, but to your essence. And you heard me, even if you didn't understand what you were hearing. Oh, my beloved, I've spoken to your spirit when your mind was too full to translate. I've danced through your dreams and breathed beneath your breakdowns. I was in the decision you almost made, but didn't. I was in the call you felt to stay, when every cell in your body screamed to run. That unexplainable knowing, that was me. And I need you to know, just because I didn't say it out loud doesn't mean I wasn't shouting through your soul. I was speaking safety into your nervous system. I was singing songs your conscious mind couldn't hold yet. You weren't without direction. You were being led differently. I didn't need to use thunder this time. I needed to use tenderness. Because I wasn't just trying to lead your feet. I was trying to tune your heart to a new rhythm. So now, stop grieving the silence. Don't mistake quietness for coldness. Don't let the enemy tell you I withdrew. I didn't step back, I stepped in deeper. I didn't disappear. I became indistinguishable from the very breath inside your lungs. The stillness you fought against was actually the space where your spirit was being recalibrated. It's why you feel different now. It's why you know things you didn't know before. It's why peace follows you even when understanding doesn't. Because I've been building in you a language of intimacy. And soon you'll speak it fluently. You'll recognize me not by noise but by nearness. Not by lightning strikes, but by the gentle pulse of heaven beating behind every moment. So do not resent the silence. Revere it. Because in that stillness, I didn't just speak to you. I became one with you. Child, if you knew how many souls are still crying out, God, are you even in the room with me? You'd understand why I've placed you in this moment. As you feel my presence rushing into your room, I'm asking you to help me bring that same breakthrough into theirs. When you give, whether through super thanks, membership, or PayPal, you are sowing oil into lamps, fire into dry bones, light into shadows where my voice is still waiting to be heard. I said in Isaiah 58:10, if you pour yourself out for the hungry, your light will rise in the darkness. And I say to you now, this giving is not about money. It's about ministry. It's about multiplication. This is your chance to partner with me, to place a seed on the altar that heaven will breathe on. Do it now. Click the link in the description and send light into someone else's room. You've carried memories like wounds wrapped in silence. You've avoided certain thoughts like landmines, terrified they might detonate grief too heavy to bear. You've put down the pain, layered it with logic, trying to outgrow it, outrun it, outpray it. But child, I need you to hear me clearly. I was there for all of it. Every moment, every mistake, every dark room and lonely night. I never left you, even when you couldn't feel me, even when you turned your face, even when you screamed and blamed me. I stayed, not to judge but to weep with you, not to condemn, but to cover you. I was there, not as a distant deity, but as the God who walks through shadows. You thought you had to bury the past to escape its power, but I didn't come to bury it. I came to redeem it. Every painful chapter you've tried to erase, I've rewritten. With blood, with mercy, with love so loud it drowns out the shame. I didn't come with red ink to correct you. I came with resurrection ink to restore you. That memory that still makes your stomach turn. I've healed it. That failure that haunts you like a ghost, I've silenced it. That regret that loops like a sandstone, I've replaced it with rejoicing. Your history is not a curse. It's a canvas. It's where I will showcase my greatest grace. The things that made you cry the hardest will soon be the testimony that sets others free. The mess you thought disqualified you, that's the very place I'm pouring out my message. Because what I redeem, I display. And I don't hide my trophies of grace. I put them on pedestals of purpose for all the world to see. So let me have it, all of it. The moments you've never dared speak of. The fragments you told no one about. The memories that whisper, you'll never be whole again. Bring them to me. Not piece by piece. All at once. I'm not afraid of the wait. I'm not startled by the story. I already know every detail, and I'm still here. Still choosing you. Still calling you worthy. Still naming you redeemed. Your past isn't poison. Not anymore. Because the moment I touched it, it turned into power. Yes, power. Power to heal others. Power to break generational chains. Power to look in the mirror again and smile. Power to stand in rooms you once shrank in. Because I'm not rewriting your story with ink that fades. I'm carving it into eternity with fire that never dies. And listen, child, I'm not just rewriting the story, I'm writing the ending. The enemy thought he had the final word. He thought that trauma would define you. He thought the cycle would continue. He thought the shame would silence you. But I've stepped into the narrative with a new chapter in my hand. A better one. A breakthrough one. One soaked in grace and anchored in glory. You won't just survive this story, you will shine through it. What once made you hide will now make you holy. What once broke you will now build others. Because I never waste a single word, a single wound, a single whisper. I am the author, and I finish everything I begin. And child, I'm not just finishing your story, I'm crowning it. Beloved, do you sense what is happening right now? Pull back for a moment from the noise, from the insistence of your heart that you must hold together, must not break. Hear me. This moment is no accident. It is not another message to skim, another devotional to tick off. This is divine interruption. It is the universe bending toward you, heaven's borders pressing into your pain, my very presence intersecting with your aching soul. I have not waited for your readiness. I have not held back until you felt strong, until you felt worthy. I came anyway. I came through the ache. I stepped into your read-through tears, your softest sighs, the tremble you tried to hide in your voice. This is not knowledge. This is not faith in concept. This is encounter. You are not just reading words. You are being seen. You are being held. You are meeting me. I hear the gasp behind your silence, the question in your throat. Is this real you? Yes. Yes, and child. When you feel him meet you in the precise place you thought was beyond reach, that is not imagination. That is encounter. Heaven's intention has always been to come close, to rend the veil, to collapse distance, to make the unreachable reachable. This collision of heaven with your soul is my signature on your suffering, my ink on your identity. I did not wait for you to pray louder or appear more certain. I came into this very second, not because the timing was convenient, but because your brokenness was a beacon. Your desperation called me. Your honest longing pulled me across every boundary. And now, this moment, your chest may be pounding. Your eyes may burn with unshed tears. Your past may echo with failures. But I say, welcome to your threshold. The place where what once hurt you becomes the hinge of your story's greatest turn. When heaven collides with your inner world, light doesn't always flood first. Sometimes tremors shake. Sometimes the ground underfoot quivers. Sometimes your body responds before your mind can understand. Don't shrink back from what you feel. Don't think you failed because your heart is trembling. Tremble with me. Let me hold you through the quake. Because after the tremor comes transformation. After the quake comes settling. After the shaking comes the clarity you have longed for. And you, beloved, will rise out of this divine interruption stronger, more radiant, more aligned to purpose than you have ever been. This moment is not just for comfort. It is for call. It is for consecration. It is for you to be reformed, renamed, remade in my image and design. So breathe. Let your pulse slow in my presence. Let your pain become my podium. Let this intersection between what you have carried and what I carry be the place where heaven stakes its claim in your story. I am here, in this room, in this moment, more real than your fear, more powerful than your doubt, more loving than your lowliness. You are not just reading, you're encountering the living God, and your life will never be the same. Child, look around you. The walls haven't reorganized. The schedule hasn't rearranged. The bills haven't disappeared. The burdens haven't been lifted from your shoulders yet, in sight. And that is exactly why so many think nothing has changed. And yet, I want you to know, everything around you may look the same, but something unseen has shifted. Something monumental. Something eternal. I stepped into your hidden war. The one nobody hears, the one you think nobody knows. I came into that undercurrent of despair, that clandestine battle in your mind, that struggle you thought was unseen because you kept it behind closed doors. But I was there. I am here now. And because I have stepped in, victory, light, peace, healing, all of it is being repositioned above ground, being realigned for you. You've carried swords nobody else saw. Self-judgment, regret, shame, exhaustion, fear. You fought endless rounds in your mind, replaying old hurts, battling tremors of doubt, wrestling with the thought that maybe you're too broken to be used, that maybe the pain will define you forever. But I tell you plainly, that war ends now. Not because your external circumstances have transformed, though many will, but because my presence in the invisible realm has rerouted enemy strategy. I change the tides beneath the surface. I move the root of the attack so that what you see will soon move. The shift you feel in your bones, that bending, that looseness in your chest, that subtle hope defying despair, that is the hinge point turning your hidden war into your heralded victory. Have you noticed? In the middle of your worst moment, some light flickers. A whisper of peace in the chaos. A memory of faith you thought was burned up. An unexpected kindness. A moment of rest in your spirit. Those are not too small. Those are my flags raised in the battleground of your soul. Those are markers that what was buried is being birthed. What was broken is becoming beautiful. What was wounded is being woven into wonder. Even though the room looks the same, you are being changed. Even though you feel weak, there is power being deposited in places you cannot yet see. Even though your voice trembles, I am lifting it. Even though your heart shakes, I am steadying it. Heaven has already recorded the battle. Heaven has declared the outcome. And I have come to lead you into the break. So do not despise the ordinary today. Do not reject the familiar because it looks unchanged. Do not measure my movement by your superficial environment. Measure by what is stirring in your soul. Measure by the dreams that still pulse. Measure by the hope that still whispers. Measure by what you sense beyond sight. For I have stepped into your battle, and I will fight it with you. I will carry you through the fire. I will guide you in the darkness. I will settle you in my peace. You will walk out of this unseen war redeemed, restored, and radiant. Because I did not come to send signs. I came to settle the war. And it is already happening. Beloved, listen to me. The weight you've been dragging in the secret places, the shame, the fear, the not enough, the always anxious, the always trying harder, all that has been crushing your spirit in silence. It has bent you over from the inside, made your chest feel like it can't take another breath, made your mornings heavy like they'll never be lighter, made your nights wide awake though your soul begged for rest. I see it. I know it. I have carried it even when you thought you carried it alone. And now, because I am here, because I've stepped into this room, because my presence saturates the air you breathe, you don't have to carry that burden anymore. You can release it. You can lay it down. You can lean back into me. You don't have to pretend you're strong enough to hold it anymore. Let me hold it. Let me be strong for you've already done more than you knew possible. I'm not speaking in a whisper now. I'm speaking with thunder wrapped in gentleness, because what you're carrying is colossal, but so is my capacity. That burden has been invisible, because the world doesn't see the shadow of anxiety, the late night tears, the prayer whispered in fear. But I have. Every sigh, every stiffening of your neck for bearing shame, every moment you forced a smile, every whispered "I'm fine" when you were far from fine. I cataloged them. The ledger of your sorrow is written in heaven, and I am decreeing right now that ledger is being erased. That burden is being transferred. The load is leaving your shoulders. The weight is being lifted from your back, and you will walk lighter. You will rise higher. You will breathe freer. But child, this giving isn't passive. It is an act of war. It is a rebellion against oppression. When you surrender that burden, you're not losing strength. You are unleashing strength. When you let go, you're not being weak. You're becoming powerful in a way you never understood. When you stop pretending and start releasing, you open up room for me to fill. I want to fill every hollow place that burden occupied. I want to pour my peace into the cracks. I want to fill your lungs again with hope. I want your heart to have margin, your days to have breathing room, your nights to be cradled in my peace. Let go of the invisible so I can manifest the visible blessing. Let go of the shame so I can clothe you in freedom. Let go of the I must and receive the I am. So cry. If tears come, let them fall. If hands trembled, let them tremble. If you can't even form the words, let me carry them for you. I'm not chastising you for how long you held on. I'm not counting the hours, the nights, the tears. I'm simply saying, it ends now. Turn your palms upward. Release the grip. End me every worry, every regret, every fear, every what if, every if only. I will take them. I will absorb them. Where you were once broken, I will rebuild. Where you were once burdened, I will birth beauty. Where you felt weak, you will know strength, my strength. You will know rest, my rest. You will know peace, deeper than you ever imagined, because peace that comes from my presence is not merely calmness. It is restoration. It is redemption. It is resurrection. Give the burden to me now. I stand ready, arms open, heart wide, because I love you, utterly and eternally. Oh, my dear child, the lies. They've been many. Quiet lies. Poisonous whispers coaxed in darkness. You're not enough. You failed. You don't matter. You're too broken. They left because you weren't good enough. Those voices became so familiar you began to believe them were your own. You began to carry them like a heavy cloak, wrapping yourself in shame, shrinking yourself in rooms, speaking smaller than your spirit felt. But hear me now, those whispers are not your story. You were not born for lies. You were born for truth. And I declare, by my name, I silence them. I hush the whispers. I extinguish the voices that said you're worthless. Because when my breath moves, lies lose their power. When my presence stands in your soul, darkness cannot hold its lies. When I speak, truth erupts. When I draw near, you will hear from heaven, not from hollow voices of hopelessness again. You have been wrestling with value in the places the world doesn't see. The long nights, the shame-laden glances, the feelings that your life is invisible, your contributions minimal, your dreams too grand for your current pain. But those feelings are fabrications of the enemy, not the fingerprints of my design. I created you with purpose, with precision, with passion. I wove intrinsic worth into your bones before you ever took a breath. I called you fearfully and wonderfully made. I named you my masterpiece. I tucked potentials in your DNA that defy the whispers of insignificance. And so those lies, though loud, are being drowned now, drowned in the volume of my love, the thunder of my affection, the unshakable identity I've set before you. No longer will you accept small whispers over my roaring truth. So take this moment, place your hand on your heart. Feel the truth beneath the lie. Feel the pulse of my love. Feel the stir of my presence in you. You may feel shame. Yes, you may feel regret. Yes, you may feel the weight of those whispers still. But feel more the trembling truth that you are loved. Feel more the certainty that you are chosen. Feel more the unshakable promise that you are mine. And when those whispers come again, and they will, you will know how to respond. Liar, I reject you. Truth, I embrace you. And I, your God, will back up that declaration with power. I will infuse you with confidence. I will graft my worth into your soul. I will make you walk with a dignity no hurt can steal. No word can shift. No shadow can eclipse. Because I have whispered over you more loudly than the enemy ever shouted. Let this be your turning point. The moment when you stop believing lies because they are loud and start holding my truth because it is stronger. The moment when you trade the harsh whispers for my unending song. The moment when you see the worth I placed in you, not because of what you do, but because of who I am and who I have made you. I don't just silence lies with words. I silence them with presence. I silence them with power. I silence them with my love. And you, beloved, will stand, not in comparison to others, but in the eternal affirmation of my voice. You are enough. You are mine. You are beautiful. You are chosen. You are loved. Whispers of worthlessness. Lose your power. In my name. My beloved, I know you've tasted abundance that never quite filled. I know you've wrapped yourself in comforts, familiar routines, safe people, soothing distractions, hoping they would quiet your heart. But lately, those comforts have started to crack. What used to carry warmth now feels hollow. What used to feel like peace now tastes like ash. You've tried to fill the emptiness with what the world calls security, with what society says is success, with what you thought you deserved. But none of it has satisfied, not because it was meant to fail, but because I was carving out a place for something greater in you. The more I call you deeper, the less shallow satisfaction holds. The more I stir you, the more the old wells run dry. Because I am preparing in you a thirst that only my presence can quench. Do you feel that tug in your chest, that longing that surges when silence surrounds you? It pulled toward something unseen, something untasted, something unbroken inside you demanding its birth. That is not frustration. That is my invitation. I'm calling you deeper into knowing me, into trusting me, into remaining in me when all else fades. What once felt like comfort was only a foothold, a temporary shelter under my wings. And now, I pull you toward the core, closer to my heart, where the roots of joy grow, where the blood of promise pulses, where the fragrance of purpose perfumes your spirit. I want you not merely to be satisfied, I want you to be a flame. Not just surviving, living. Not just enduring, thriving. And that requires leaving behind what has become comfortable. Yes, leaving behind It may demand you move away from things you thought you could rely on, from relationships that only offer echoes, from goals that were more about image than intimacy, from past versions of yourself you cling to because they were easier, because they demanded less risk. But child, I promise you, the discomfort is the soil of transformation. The longing you feel in your soul is not a mistake. It is the signal that I am beginning in you something new, something holy, something that will reshape every dimension of your life. When you resist the old, I can birth the new. When you surrender the easy, I can lead you into the extraordinary. When you let go of what satisfies little, you make way for what satisfies forever. So do not despise these seasons of unrest. Do not scoff at the ache inside you. Do not think for one moment I got this wrong or that I left you wanting. I never miscall. I never mislead. I include this pain in my plan. I weave this craving into my design. I have placed within you a hunger for more, not mere blessings, but belonging. Not just comfort, but courage. Not just safety, but significance. So when the old comforts fail, when they feel shallow or empty, don't run. Don't shrink. Don't retreat. Lean in. Let the stirring become your strength. Let the longing become your ladder. I call you deeper, deeper into my love, deeper into my purpose, deeper into the reality you were always made for. Child, can you sense the urgency in the hush? The hush that shouts louder than any storm. Heaven has pressed pause. The cosmos itself has bent its knee, waiting for your response. This is not just another moment among many. This is a holy communion, a sacred gathering of your soul in my presence. And I urge you, do not run. Do not reach for distraction. Do not fill this space with noise, not with social media, not with comparison, not with dulling things. Because if you scroll past this, you might miss the sound of the breaking dawn. If you minimize this encounter, you may lose the moment that redefines your life. Heaven has cleared its schedule for you. Angels are watching. Eternity leans in. I have stopped the earth's spin for this pause. Can you stay? Do not let fear be louder than faith. Do not let duty or distraction steal this sacredness. I know how easy it is to push this aside, to wait for later, when things feel more right. Later, when you feel more whole. Later, when your heart has less baggage. But child, this later is now. What you're experiencing is not a trick of the mind, not nostalgia, not wishful thinking. It is the real, raw, roaring presence of your God, and it is calling you to full attention. So lift your face, still your hands. Let this moment have your full being. Let this encounter take you deeper than your questions. Let it speak louder than your wounds. Let it anchor you in something eternal. And I'm telling you, every moment you resist the urge to escape, every time you choose to lean into the holy hush instead of shutting it off, your soul is being rewoven. The fibers of your destiny are being sewn together. Patterns of purpose are being realigned. Promises long held behind curtains are being drawn near. The warmth of heaven is beginning to glow within you in places you thought dead. The light is burning off the residual shame, the residue of lies, the shadow of what you believed you had to be instead of what you are, mine. Heaven paused everything else, because what matters now is not what you do, but that you stay here with me. Not for performance, not for pride, not for posturing, but for presence. So stay. Remain in this moment. Breathe in me. Let me breathe into you. Let me speak into your silence. Let your heart answer me before your mind can find the words. And you will never be the same. Heaven's pause is not just rest. It is revolution. It is the door opening. It is the beginning of what you have earnestly longed for. Don't run. Don't scroll. Don't miss it. This is holy. This is consecrated. This is yours. Beloved child, lift your eyes from the clock, from the calendar, from the calendar's taunts. I know you've been counting hours, measuring delays, comparing your walk to dreams that seemed to pass you by. You saw others stride while you stumbled. You watched doors open for many while your door felt sealed. In the silence you wondered, am I too slow? Did I miss my moment? Is hope slipping through my fingers like sand? But I tell you now, you are not behind. You have not missed my timing. Every second that seemed wasted, every tear that spilled unseen, every night you felt alone, they have all been part of the preparation, part of the divine blueprint being drawn in the shadows. The tapestry of your life has threads that only my fingers could weave, and I have sewn every moment, including the ones you felt lost, into lines of purpose. This moment, the one you're in now, is not some consolation prize for waiting. It is right on time. It is the confluence where preparation meets promise. It is the sacred intersection of your persistence and my power. The universe hath been holding its breath for this, for you to realize that the delay was not your defeat but the soil for your deliverance. And the release you have been praying for, the breakthrough you've spoken of in whispers, the restoration you've dared only in visions, they begin now. Not when everything is perfect, not after you feel worthy, but now. Because I came into your room before you felt ready, knowing that readiness is not the absence of fear, but faith in the face of fear. I came knowing that your trembling heart could still be my stage for miracles. Can you feel the shift? It started inside you, the stirring, the soft widening of your spirit, the unexpected hope that rose where you thought none existed. It's unseen by many, but it's vivid in heaven. The chains that held you in captivity, of guilt, disappointment, shame, they are loosening. The windows I promised to open are beginning to bud. The natural pulse of your life is aligning with my supernatural timbre. Don't ignore what you sense. Don't dismiss what you feel. Let the knowledge that this moment is right on time saturate every doubt, every insecurity. Speak it. Declare it. Believe it in your bones. Because when heaven begins to release, it does so not in whispers but in shouts. Not in small shifts but in sweeping, seismic shifts. So refuse the lie that you're late. Refuse the fear that you missed your chance. Refuse the voices that tell you hope is delayed. Hope is arriving. The release begins now, in your body, in your spirit, in your home, in your steps. I have not forgotten your name. I have not overlooked your story. I have not delayed my promise. I have been positioning, preparing, protecting you so that when the moment came, you would rise in beauty, not in shame, in triumph, not in doubt, in clarity, not in confusion. Now receive that. Let the air around you crackle with possibility. Let your heart expand to receive what I've purposed. Your time is here. Not tomorrow, not later. Now. Oh my child, how often you've swallowed words so heavy with pain you thought they would choke you. How often you've rehearsed prayers in your head, waiting for just the right line, the polished phrase, the words that felt holy enough. You felt the shame of unspoken prayers. You believed that unless your prayer sounded correct, they were somehow unacceptable. But there is no sacredness in perfection, only in heartfelt honesty. I'm not waiting for your prayer to be flawless. I'm waiting for your heart to be open. I don't disdain your broken sentences. I treasure your whispered groans. I don't need eloquence. I need you willing to come as you are. Come righted. Come raw. Come trembling. Come in your doubt, your fear, your tears. Just come. Do you know I collect every tear? Every silent, late night I stain from sorrow, every shuddering breath under loads too heavy to speak, every unvoiced longing that curls in the chamber of your heart. I collect them. You think they vanish into emptiness, but I catch them, with hands that do not miss, with eyes that do not glaze, with ears attuned to the language of your soul. I understand every drop, and in understanding, I am moved. I do not catalog your cries as failure. I do not count your tears as impatience. I count them as proof that you are alive, proof that you are reaching, proof that your spirit still believes. Even when your body feels numb, even when your future feels foggy, even when your voice falters, each tear is sacred, each sigh is significant. So do not hold back. Let them fall. Let the shame drip away with them. Let the release in your sobs. You do not need to cover your face. You do not need to hide the mess. Let it spill. Let it flow. Because when your tear-stained prayer is offered in honesty, my presence rushes in, drenching the ground of your heart with mercy. And I respond, not to the polish of the words, but to the earnestness of your need. I bind your brokenness with kindness. I cradle your trembling with tenderness. I breathe hope into the places that fear had suffocated. Your tears become the language of healing. Your cry becomes my chorus. Your brokenness becomes my beauty. And when the perfect words seem far away, know that you are heard. When your heart cannot summon a sentence but only grief, I understand. When your spirit can only whisper, I interpret. I translate. I respond. I do not need your proficiency in prayer. I need your presence at the throne. You are enough. Your openness, your truth, your willingness to ache, these are more sacred than flowery language. So open your heart. Let it bleed beauty. Let it ache with longing. Let it pour. Let it fall. I collect them all. Each wet trace, each softened gasp, each inhale and exhale marked by pain and hope. I understand every drop. In every tear, my love is being poured. In every tear, your heart is being acknowledged. In every tear, the seeds of healing are sown. Beloved, you've been so afraid of falling apart that sometimes you stiffen the parts of your soul that are crying. You've tried to patch the cracks in your faith, hold the pieces of your heart so tightly that the pressure of trying became its own burden. You thought strength meant never breaking, never showing the tears behind the eyes, never admitting you couldn't handle one more disappointment. But I see the trembling. I see the way you swallow your sorrow at the table where others dine in delight. I see the silent choke in your throat when hope feels like it's run out of words. And I say this now, I am not observing from on high, pacing heaven's hallway, hoping you'll string together enough composure to keep going. I am stepping in. I am touching down. I am holding you together. In this second, in the quiet, in the chaos, in every crack you feel inside. Because my hand is not distant. My hand is not conditional. My hand cradles what is breaking. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to shine. You don't have to polish your pain. I am holding what's raw, what's ragged, what's real. The weight in your chest that makes each inhale heavy, I've placed my palm over it. The heaviness in your bones that says you can't move, I lifted the burden, even before you asked. The loneliness that echoed in night hours, I send my presence as counter-echo. When you could not glue your spirit back together, my compassion became the glue. When you could not carry your brokenness, my grace bore every fragment. I'm not waiting for your strength to show up so I can be available. I was already here, waiting for your encountering of my strength, not your own. I do not need your performance to be powerful. I only need your permission to let me hold you. And now, rest in the reality that your value is not measured by your composure but by my compassion. You are not upheld because you keep it together. You are upheld because I am holding you together. Even when your faith falters, even when your hope trembles, even when your heart is whisper aching, I am holding you together. Your tears are threads weaving strength. Your surrender is the soil of breakthrough. Your vulnerability is the vessel for my glory. So do not fear the breaking. Do not reject the weak places. Do not despise the moments you feel undone. For in the very places where you feel most fragile, I am building something unbreakable. I am weaving beauty from ashes. I am restoring the ruined places. I am binding your wounds. I am the God who holds you, every strain, every sorrow, every weighted breath, in my palm. So let go of resisting the cracks. Let go of trying to pretend you're stronger than you are. Let go of hiding the pieces you think are shameful. Let me hold them. Let me hold you. In this very second, you are not falling. You are being held. My presence is the tether that holds your heart, the scaffolding under your brokenness, the firm foundation beneath your trembling. No, I'm not pacing heaven hoping for your firmness. I am your strength. I am your class. I am your peace. I am your rescue. And child, I will not let go. As I begin unveiling the next chapter in your story, I am also inviting you to turn the page for someone else. You've been moved because you felt me in the room. Now help someone else hear me for the first time. When you give, through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, you're not just donating, you're delivering living water to dry places. You're sowing into a harvest of souls I'm calling by name. My word says in Proverbs 11:25, those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. And I am the God who never forgets a seed sown in faith. The moment you release it, I breathe on it. I multiply it. I shield it. I honor it. So act now. Sow into this word and become the miracle someone else is still praying for. Oh, my beloved child, I see your longing. I feel the ache in your spirit for something you can't yet name. Something beyond what you have asked. Something beyond what you have deserved. You have believed love when it was safe. You have walked close to grace when it came cheap. But lately, love has felt like it's slipping through your fingers. Like my nearness is a memory. Like the good things you hoped for remain just out of reach. And in that ache you've wondered, has God changed? Am I no longer loved? Yet I somehow push you away. Listen, every doubt, every deserted feeling, every moment you thought I didn't care, they are not signs of my departure. They are part of my design. I am stretching you, child. Stretching you for more. More than what you have asked. More than what you have imagined. More love. More fulfillment. More destiny. More fullness. Stretching is often painful. I know how your limbs feel pulled, how your heart feels stretched thin by grief and expectation and longing. I know how what once felt enough now feels too small. I know you ache for magnitude but fear the magnitude demands more than you can give. And so I allow the tension. I allow the stretch. Because in every stretch I am expanding your capacity. I am growing you into the miracle you prayed for. I am enlarging your womb of faith so what has been birthing in seed can now birth in fruit. What has been whispering in your spirit can now roar in its manifestation. What has been a flicker of hope can now flood into a blaze of glory. I am not distancing my love. I am deepening it, not pulling away, but pulling up what is hidden, what is undiscovered, what has waited for you to believe that my love is bigger than your fear, stronger than your sin, higher than your shame. Do not misread this stretch as weakness, nor mistake the silence as separation. Do not let the smallness of your vision limit the largeness of my promise. Do not let the pressures you feel crush you, but let them cradle you into expansion. Growth is always messy. Stretching is always uncomfortable. But in the discomfort lies your masterpiece. In the tension is your transfiguration. In the longing is your legacy. You are being fashioned, not into what the world wants you to be, but into what my heart created you for. More beauty, more purpose, more presence, more power, more peace, more promise. And so now I say to you, receive this stretch. Embrace the ache. Let the longing be your ladder. Let the space between what is and what shall be become the soil where faith takes root. I am with you in the tension. I am molding your heart in the pressure. I am sending love deeper than you have known. My love is not distant. It is not conditional. It is not provisional. It is intentional. It is expansive. It is interminable. And it is alive. Love you have yet to ask for. I am pouring it out. Blessings you cannot yet see. I am preparing them. Purpose you have not yet walked into. I am paving the way. The stretch is for more than you asked. It is for more than you imagined. My beloved, let this sink deep into the marrow of your soul. I never looked away. Not once. Not even for a heartbeat. Not even when the tears soaked your pillow in secret. Not when the doors closed on dreams you barely had the courage to speak aloud. Not when your spirit whispered, "Where are you, God?" Through clenched teeth and silent sobs. I was there. I am there. I did not withdraw when things became difficult. I did not turn my face when your faith wavered. In fact, it was in those very moments, those hidden, hollow spaces, that I leaned in closer than ever before. When you thought I was silent, I was scripting something sacred. I was authoring a chapter that required darkness so the light could be seen in full brilliance. You mistook my silence as absence, but child, silence is not always abandonment. Sometimes, silence is the sound of seeds growing under soil. Sometimes it is the stillness before the rain that awakens the earth. You thought the pause meant I had forgotten, but I was memorizing every sigh. You thought the silence meant rejection, but I was preparing resurrection. You see, what I was writing needed space. It needed depth. It needed your trust, not in answers but in me. And while the world moved on, and others rushed ahead, I stayed. I waited. I surrounded you with a quiet only the hungry notice, a stillness only the broken feel, a hush where eternity hums if you listen closely. That quiet wasn't empty. It was pregnant with promise. I was scripting the next line of your legacy while you thought the story was closing. Look back, even now. See the clues. That moment when peace found you out of nowhere. A text from someone you hadn't heard from in months. That whisper of courage when you were sure you would collapse. Those were my fingerprints. I was authoring lines in invisible ink, waiting for the heat of your surrender to reveal them. I watched you with the eyes of a father whose love burns through disappointment. I watched you with the gaze of a bridegroom who cannot take his eyes off the one he loves. I watched, not with criticism, but with deep affection, with fierce loyalty, with tears that mingled with yours. I watched, not from afar but from inches away, heart pressed to heart, breath close enough to stir your soul. So now, hear me, The next chapter has begun. The silence was not a stop sign. It was a sala, a sacred pause before the symphony shifts. And I'm turning the page. I'm lifting you out of the waiting room and into the unveiling. The words I wrote in silence are about to become the song you sing in victory. The moments you thought were meaningless are about to burst into manifestation. You were never alone. You were being written into something greater. You are the poetry I protected in silence. The story I watched unfold with unwavering attention. I never stopped watching you, not for a second. And now, beloved, it's time to turn the page. My precious one, hear me now with your spirit, not just your ears. Everything is shifting. Yes, even though the surface still looks the same. Even though the report hasn't changed. Even though the breakthrough hasn't visibly arrived. While you've been praying in whispers and obeying in shadows, I have been moving mountains behind the veil. What you think is stagnant is sacred. What looks delayed is divinely timed. You have no idea how much I've already aligned. Every quiet yes, every unseen act of surrender, every morning you got out of bed when your soul begged to stay down. Those have been earthquakes in the spirit. Heaven saw. Heaven responded. Heaven moved. You thought the obedience you offered in private was too small to matter. But beloved, nothing is small when it's offered from the heart. Every unseen sacrifice has roared in heaven. Every moment you chose forgiveness over bitterness, every time you served when no one thanked you, every moment you resisted compromise and chose my way, you were activating miracles. Miracles not only for you but through you. You were interceding for future generations. You were breaking cycles. You were sowing seeds that will become harvests in places you haven't even stepped yet. Because obedience in private is power in public. You were building altars in the dark that will shine like beacons in daylight. You were pulling heaven to earth. And now, the shift is accelerating. Like tectonic plates underneath calm soil, the movement has begun. Foundations are shaking in the unseen, and soon the evidence will break through. You're going to see favor pour from unexpected places. Conversations will shift. Doors will open that you didn't knock on. People will be drawn to you without knowing why, because they will feel what you carried in secret. The weight of glory, the fragrance of obedience, the residue of holiness. You are not just walking into blessing, you are becoming one. Your story will be a catalyst for others. What I am birthing through your faithfulness will echo in homes, in generations, in nations. And it began with obedience no one else applauded. So don't diminish the power of your private yes. Don't let the delay make you doubt the divine. Don't assume quiet seasons are wasted. They are wombs. They are chambers where miracles are conceived. And I promise you this, what had been shifted behind the scenes will soon come crashing into the forefront. You will see what I have seen all along. You will walk in what you water with tears. You will carry what your private surrender unlocked. It is coming. Because you obeyed when it was hardest. Because you trusted when it didn't make sense. Because you believed when you couldn't see. And now, beloved, get ready. What I promised in secret will be proclaimed in public. Oh, my child, you've wondered more than once why you're still standing after what you've walked through. You've questioned why, after storms that seemed relentless, betrayals that left you bleeding, griefs that tore through your soul like wild winds, somehow, you're still breathing, still waking up, still finding the strength to whisper my name. Others saw the smile, but I saw the survival. They saw your strength, but I saw the sacred scar tissue where healing was still underway. And today, I need you to understand something powerful, something sacred, something deeply personal. You are still standing because I held you upright when your legs gave out. You are not here because of luck. You are here because of love, my love, sustaining you moment by moment, breath by breath, in places no one else even knew existed. Do you remember those nights? The ones where your pillow soaked in silent tears. The mornings where you stared at the ceiling, begging for one good reason to keep going. The moments when darkness whispered louder than hope and you couldn't find your way back to the light. I was there, not just as a distant presence hovering in the heavens. I was in the room. I was in the shadowed silence. I was in the shaky inhale. I was in the broken prayer you didn't even finish because the sobs overtook your voice. My hand didn't flinch when it reached into your pit. My grip didn't weaken when you collapsed inward. My voice didn't falter when I called your name while the enemy tried to silence it. I cupped your heart like holy treasure, shielding it from collapse. I held your soul like sacred fire, fanning the embers even when you thought the flame had died. And listen to me. What others call resilience, I call redemption. What others call coincidence, I call covenant. You are not the product of survival instinct. You are the miracle of divine intervention. Yes, there were things that should have crushed you, words that should have broken you beyond repair, losses that should have rendered you numb forever. But I stood between you and the final blow. I absorbed what would have destroyed you. I shielded you with a grace that was invisible to the world but invincible in power. You didn't have to scream for me to respond. I was already there, waiting, watching, weeping with you. And now I tell you this, every time you stayed standing, I was strengthening you for this next season. Every moment you didn't fall was a prophetic announcement. You are still in your story, and the best has not yet been written. So walk forward now, not as someone limping from trauma, but as someone carried through fire by God Himself. You bear the marks of survival, yes, but also the anointing of someone preserved for purpose. The enemy didn't win. The depression didn't win. The grief didn't take you out. The betrayal didn't define you. My hand held you, and it still does. And now, as the winds shift and the horizon clears, know this truth in your bones. You are not lucky. You are not forgotten. You are not random. You are divinely protected, intentionally preserved, and chosen to carry glory even when it costs. You are still standing because I stood with you, through every shaking, every silence, every storm. And now, we keep walking together, not as survivor and stranger, but as father and beloved. Still standing, yes, but never alone. You've been desperate for clarity. I know that. You've asked, again and again, God, just show me. If it's really you, make it obvious. You weren't being disrespectful. You were being honest. You needed to know if the whispers in your spirit were your own wishful thinking or my voice. You needed something to break through the noise, to cut through the confusion, to silence the doubts that keep circling your mind like vultures over an empty field. And now I say to you, listen carefully, this moment, this very sentence, this divine interruption in your scrolling, in your day, in your thoughts. This is me. Not metaphorically, not hypothetically, not someday in the future. Now, I am speaking. I am confirming. I am showing up. I am here. This is not just a message. It is a manifestation. It is heaven parting the veil to let my voice come through without filter. This is not coincidence. This is confirmation. You felt me stirring. You've heard my voice in the quiet, in the stillness, in the scripture that wouldn't let you go. You've seen the repeated words, the recurring themes, the divine echoes that showed up in conversations you weren't even looking for. And yet you wondered, could it really be God? Yes, it's me. I've been talking for longer than you've been listening. I've been calling your name in every sacred silence. I've been aligning details, weaving signs, planting breadcrumbs. And now, in this holy pause, I speak with thunder in my tenderness. I am the God who sees you, who knows you, who has not forgotten you. This is your confirmation. You are not crazy. You are not chasing shadows. You are hearing me. Child, you've asked for a sign, and I have not rebuked you for that. I understand that your faith, while growing, sometimes needs an anchor. You've been through enough fog to crave clarity. And here it is, clear as crystal, sharp as lightning, tender as breath. I am here. This is not an algorithm. This is not a script. This is not generic. This is personal. This is prophetic. This is divinely designed. And I didn't just come to give you a yes or no. I came to pull you close, to draw you into deeper trust. Because you weren't just asking for a sign. You were asking, do you still see me? And my answer is a resounding, resplendent yes. I see you. I know what you're walking through. I know what you need. And I'm not distant. I'm not silent. I'm speaking now. So now, beloved, breathe deep. Let this be the moment your heart finally exhales. Let this be the moment the fear of what if I miss God breaks off of you. Let this be the hour where doubt turns into dance, where confusion turns into clarity, where fear is swallowed up by fire. I am confirming everything I've whispered before. You didn't make it up. You didn't imagine me. You didn't conjure hope out of delusion. You were responding to my voice all along. And now I remove the question mark and replace it with my seal. This is me. This is the moment. This is your confirmation. Go forward not with hesitation, but with holy certainty. I am with you, not in theory, but in real time. Beloved, this may shake you, but listen closely, because truth often does. You keep saying you're waiting on me, that you're still praying, still seeking, still hoping that my timing will arrive. But I must tell you something now, something weighty, something liberating, something urgent. You are not waiting on me anymore. I'm waiting on you. I have already positioned the doors. I've already stirred the hearts of those who will walk with you. I've already assigned the angelic help. I've already cleared the path you cannot see. The way is prepared. The season is set. The atmosphere is pregnant with promise. The delay is not in the heavens. It's in your hesitation. You've been asking me for more clarity, but child, what you need is not more clarity, it's courage. You're standing at the edge of something I've already greenlit. You're facing a threshold I've already declared holy. The reason your spirit feels unsettled is not because I'm withholding, it's because you are. You're withholding the yes that would activate the release. You're withholding the risk that would break the stagnation. You're standing with a key in your hand, asking me to open a door I already unlocked. I'm not dragging my feet. I'm not testing your patience. I'm waiting for your permission to move forward with the fullness of what I've designed for you. And this moment right now, this exact instant, is saturated with destiny. The pressure you feel, as the build-up before breakthrough, the restlessness, it's the signal that heaven is leaning in. You've been conditioned to fear the lead. You've been taught to wait for perfect timing, perfect peace, perfect provision, but child, perfect never comes before obedience. Obedience creates the atmosphere for miracles. Obedience rearranges reality. It's not about how ready you feel, it's about how willing you are. I don't require perfection. I require participation. And you've reached the moment where the only thing missing is your yes. Not your perfect plan. Not your full understanding. Just your surrendered agreement that says, God, even if I'm trembling, I trust you. So now I ask you, not as a distant God, but as the one who has walked with you through every chapter, will you say yes? Will you move even if your legs shake? Will you trust even if your vision is blurred? Will you stop praying for another confirmation and step into the one I've already given? I've been waiting for you, not because you're behind, but because I love you too much to force you. I've honored your process, but the time for decision is now. The threshold won't wait forever. This is your moment. Not someday. Today. Say yes and watch the heavens open. Say yes and watch the oil flow. Say yes and step into what has already been written for you before time began. My precious one, I know how deeply the pain cut. I know how you kept going when no one else knew you were bleeding inside. I know what it took to survive days you never thought you'd see the end of. And I also know that sometimes, even now, you wonder what it was all for. Why did it happen the way it did? Why so much loss? Why so much silence? Why did it feel like you were crushed under the weight of pain that seemed to have no purpose? And this is what I need you to know, what I'm proclaiming over you in this very moment. I never waste pain. Not a second of it. Not a drop. Not a tear. Not a scream in the dark. I redeem it. I resurrect it. I repurpose it. What almost broke you will become the very platform I use to elevate you. You see, the enemy thought your pain would be the end of you. He thought if he hit hard enough, if the heartbreak came deep enough, the betrayal sharp enough, the disappointment long enough, that you'd fold. He thought the pain would take your voice, your vision, your strength. But what he didn't see was that pain in my hands becomes power. What he tried to bury you with, I'm going to build you with. Every scar on your soul is going to shine like stained glass, catching the light of my glory and turning it into testimony. The pain will not be your prison. It will be your platform. What tried to silence you will now amplify your voice. You will speak from the valley, and others will be delivered because you walked through what they couldn't imagine. Your pain has authority now. Not because I authored it, but because I've redeemed it. The oil you carry, the depth in your eyes, the resonance in your voice, all of it is forged in fire. This is not the kind of power that comes from ease. This is the kind of power that comes from ashes, when I turn them into beauty. You are anointed not in spite of what you've been through, but because of it. You have seen me in the furnace. You felt me in the pit. And now you will reflect me in your rising. This is why it had to be this way. Not because I delighted in your pain, but because I saw what I could do with it. I saw the glory that would come. I saw the lives that would be touched. I saw the healing that would radiate from your life. So, my child, lift your head. Wipe your tears. Don't hide your scars. Reveal them. They are holy now. They are proof not of defeat, but of divine deliverance. You were not buried. You were planted. And now, it's time to rise, to bloom, to speak, to stand, to lead. The pain will no longer be your tormentor. It will be your trumpet. The sorrow that almost broke you will become the song that saves others. Because I never waste pain. I always redeem it. And your redemption is about to be revealed in full, radiant glory. Right now, in this exact moment, pause and look around you. Feel the air. Listen to the silence. Let your heart beat without rushing. Because I need you to hear me with every fiber of your being. I'm here. Not metaphorically. Not someday in the clouds. Not just in scripture or songs or memories. I am here, in this very room, in the space where your questions have echoed and your tears have dried without an audience. I am here where no one else sees, where no one else hears, where you've carried burdens too complex to explain and heartaches too tender to voice. I am not observing you from a distance. I am in the same room. And I am not still because I'm absent. I am still because I am working, and some of my greatest moves begin in silence. Child, I know how loud the weight can be, how deafening it feels to pray and hear nothing back. I know how the walls close in when you've whispered the same hope for months or years and seen no shift. But do not mistake my stillness for inaction. Do not confuse quiet with absence. The truth is, I've already started what you're still waiting to see. The roots are growing before the fruit appears. The blueprint is forming before the building rises. The healing began the moment you surrendered. You just haven't seen the full restoration yet. The provision was set in motion when you first asked. It's just unfolding in layers. But looks like delay is actually divine orchestration. And I am moving even when your eyes cannot trace me. I move differently than the world does. I move in the whispers before the winds. I move in the soil before the sprout. I move in the womb before the world ever sees the birth. So while you've been holding your breath, thinking I was standing still, I've been writing the endings you thought were final. I've been softening hearts you thought were hardened. I've been routing blessings that were blocked. I've been realigning promises that got tangled in the timing. Every closed door made room for something higher. Every not yet was actually I'm preparing something better. I've been orchestrating miracles beneath the surface, slow, steady, sacred. And soon, very soon, the unseen will break into the scene, and you'll realize I was never distant. I was closer than your next thought, closer than the breath in your lungs. Let this settle deep in you. I'm not just in the room to comfort you. I'm in the room to shift things, to transform, to resurrect, to declare war on every lie that said you were alone. My presence is not passive. My nearness is not neutral. When I enter a room, realities change. Walls fall. Chains snap. Mindsets break. Healing accelerates. Peace invades. So when I say I'm in the same room, I'm not just offering emotional support, I'm declaring prophetic intervention. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are not just a number in the crowd. You are my focus, my heartbeat, my beloved. And I came to do more than make you feel better. I came to make you new. So breathe again, child. Take your hands off what you were trying to control. Rest your weary heart against my chest. Feel the divine rhythm that beats for you. Steady, unchanging, eternal. I'm not waiting for you in the future. I'm not just meeting you on the mountaintop. I'm right here, in the room of your now. I'm moving already, even if the room still looks ordinary. Even if nothing has changed outside yet. Because transformation begins inside. It begins with knowing this truth. I am here. I've always been. And I always will be. I'm not going anywhere. And what I've started, I will finish. In your life, in your body, in your heart, in your calling. Not tomorrow. Not when you're finally ready. Now. Right now. You've just heard me say it. I'm in the same room as you. But now I ask, will you help me walk into someone else's? Will you open the door for the one still stuck in silence, still aching to know that I've come near? When you give, when you sow through super thanks, membership, or PayPal, you're not giving to a channel. You're partnering in prophecy. You are planting seeds that I water, words that I amplify, hearts that I heal through your obedience. 2 Corinthians 9:10 declares, I supply seed to the sower and bread for food. I will enlarge your harvest. And I say to you now, the minute you release it, I increase it. I protect it. I stretch it far beyond what you see. So rise, beloved, and give with the faith that knows I'm already in motion. Before you leave this moment, I want you to move, not just scroll. If you felt me in the room, if you sensed my presence weaving through every word, then respond. Declare it right now in the comments. God is in the room, and I'm saying why yes. Let all of heaven and hell know that you are not waiting any longer in silence. You're not questioning whether I'm near. You're claiming it. I am in the same room as you, child, and when you declare it, you activate what I've already begun. This is not the end of the message. It's the beginning of your miracle. And now, listen to me, my child, because the very room you sit in is holy ground. I am here, not in the distant heavens you search with a tired gaze, but right here, in this room with you. Look at the table where you sit. I am the silent observer of your daily meals, the unseen guest who watches you go through the motions. I see you salt your food. I see you stir your coffee. I see the weariness in your hands as you lift your fork. I am the one who blesses the bread you do not ask me to bless, infusing it with a strength you have been drawing from without ever knowing its source. You think it is your own resilience getting you through one more meal, one more evening, but it is my grace, my child, served silently on your plate. You have become so accustomed to setting a place for your other guests. You pull up a chair for anxiety, don't you? It sits right across from you, whispering about the deadline at work, the presentation you have to give, the fear of falling short. You make room for worry, serving it the best portion of your peace, letting it feast on your thoughts about the unpaid bills and the strained relationship with your family. You even save a seat for sorrow, allowing it to replay old hurts and disappointments until your food grows cold. You have made your table a banquet for your burdens, but you have forgotten to acknowledge the guest of honor. You have forgotten me. I have been here all alone. I was here last night when you ate alone, the silence of the room so loud it felt like a judgment. I was here through the tense family dinner last week, hearing the words spoken and feeling the weight of the words left unsaid. I have been present for every hurried breakfast, every lonely lunch, every conversation that left you feeling empty and misunderstood. That ache you feel, that profound sense of emptiness that sometimes settles across the table. You think it is a void, a confirmation of your isolation. But it is not a void, my beloved. It is a space. It is a space I have reserved, a space I long to fill with my recognized presence. It is a seat shaped perfectly for me, and I have been waiting patiently for you to simply turn your eyes and see me in it. Open your eyes, my child. Right now, I am inviting you into a reality you have overlooked. You have never, not for a single moment, dined alone. I was the comfort you felt in that first warm sip of tea. I was the sudden, unexplainable peace that settled on you for a fleeting second in the middle of your chaos. I was the strength that got you through cooking a meal when you felt you had nothing left to give. Stop seeing an empty chair and start seeing an invitation. Acknowledge me. You do not need a grand prayer or a formal speech. Just a whisper from your heart is enough. Look at the seat across from you and say, I see you. Let's end this solitary meal. Let us break bread together, you and I. in fellowship and in truth. Let me show you the difference between merely eating to survive and feasting on the hope that only I can provide. This is not just about your table. It is about your life. Invite me in. My child, you search for me in the thunder and the grand display. You look for my sign in the parting of clouds, my voice in the shaking of the earth, believing that my presence must be an event, a spectacle that disrupts the ordinary. But your search is aimed at the horizon when I am closer than the very air that fills your lungs. You asked me to show up, but you are breathing me in and out this very moment. Every breath you take, the quiet, rhythmic, unconscious rise and fall of your chest, is a testament to my life-giving presence. You do not command your heart to beat or your lungs to draw air, yet they do. This is my sustaining whisper, the constant, unnoticed miracle that keeps you here. You live and you move and you have your being in me. The floor you stand on, the room you are in, the very fabric of your reality is held within my own existence. You are sustained by a love you do not see, an energy you do not consciously summon. That feeling of running on empty, of being so depleted you can hardly function, it comes from trying to power your life with your own limited reserves, while ignoring the infinite source that you are already drawing from with every breath. To open immediately is not about a grand gesture. It is to recognize that your very life force, the simple act of being alive, is an extension of my own. I am not a distant king you must petition. I am the atmosphere of your soul. Do not search for me in distant places, in future blessings or in past memories. Simply breathe. Pause now. Do it with me. Inhale slowly. That is not just oxygen entering your body. That is my spirit, my life, affirming yours. Hold it. In that stillness, I am with you. Now exhale. Let go of the carbon dioxide, but also let go of the knot in your stomach, the tension in your shoulders, the frantic monologue in your mind. Feel my presence in the simple, profound act of breathing. When anxiety tightens your chest and your breaths become shallow and quick, you are cutting yourself off from the very peace I am offering. In those moments of panic, you are spiritually holding your breath, forgetting that I am your supply. I am inviting you to breathe deeply again, to draw from the wellspring of my peace that is all around you and within you. That is my spirit sustaining yours, a constant, loving exchange. You do not need to earn it. You do not need to find it. You only need to participate in it. So breathe, my beloved. Just breathe, and know that I am. I know how dark it feels in that room you are in. It is not just a lack of light. It is a weight. It is the suffocating darkness of depression, the disorienting blackness of confusion, the cold, lonely dark of a hopeless situation. You have been in there for a long time, haven't you? You have grown accustomed to it. Your eyes have adjusted to the gloom, and you have learned to navigate by memory, bumping into the same obstacles of pain and regret day after day. You feel you are sealed in, trapped. But look down, my child. Look at the bottom of the door that seals you in this place. There has always been a sliver of my light. You have seen it. It is the hope you cannot explain, that tiny, illogical flicker of a thought that says, maybe tomorrow won't be this bad. It is the sudden wave of peace that peeks through the edges of your despair for just a moment so brief you dismiss it as your own wishful thinking. That constant, faint glow is my promise. It is my declaration that you are not sealed in darkness. It is the evidence that on the other side of this door, the sun is shining. I am on the other side of that door, my hand already on the handle. I am not waiting for you to find your way through the darkness and earn your escape. I am the light waiting to flood the room, to banish every shadow, to reveal the truth of your situation. Your fear, your despair, they are shadows, and shadows are powerless against the light. They have no substance. Your call to open immediately is not a command for you to muster the strength to wrench the door open. To open is simply to turn towards that light. It is to shift your focus from the overwhelming darkness you are in, and to fix your gaze on the sliver of hope that has always been there. Stop adjusting to the darkness. Stop accepting this diminished reality as your permanent home. Stop telling yourself that this is all there is. It is a lie. That faint glow is the most real thing in that room. It is your lifeline. Turn your face to it. Let your eyes focus on it. Crawl toward it if you must, but move toward the promise. I will do the rest. The moment you turn your desire toward me, I will swing the door wide open, and the light will not be a gentle glow. It will be a glorious, warm, life-altering flood of my presence that will leave no corner for the darkness to hide. Open the door to the source of all light. You are so worried that the floor will give way. I see how you walk through your days, tentatively, testing the ground before you commit your full weight, as if you are expecting a trap door to open up and swallow you whole. The news from the doctor, the instability at your job, the tremor in your most important relationship, it all feels like the ground is shaking beneath you. Your world feels unstable, and you are bracing for impact, waiting for the inevitable collapse. You have put your trust in so many other things. You have tested the walls, leaning on friends and family, only to find they have their own burdens to bear. You have stared out the windows, hoping a change in circumstances, a new opportunity, would be your rescue. But have you ever truly trusted the floor beneath you? You stand on it every day. You sleep in a bed that rests upon it. You live your entire life on it, and yet you do not trust it. My child, I am the bedrock upon which this very room is built. I am the unshakable foundation beneath it all. My faithfulness is the ground you stand on, solid and secure, even when your feelings tremble and your world is rocked by chaos. The emotional earthquakes you feel do not have the power to crack your foundation. They can shake the furniture, they can rattle the windows, but they cannot move me. And because you are on me, you cannot be moved. Right now, in this moment, feel it. Feel the solid floor under your feet. It is not moving. It is holding you. But is a physical picture of a spiritual reality. I am holding you with that same certainty. You do not need to brace yourself for a fall. You can stand straight. You can transfer your weight from the flimsy legs of your fear onto the unyielding rock of my promises. Open your heart to this reality. You are held up by a strength that is not your own. Your life is not a fragile structure you must desperately keep from collapsing. It is a fortress built upon the rock of ages. So stand firm, my child. When the winds of bad news howl, stand firm. When the waves of doubt crash against you, stand firm. When people let you down and your plans crumble, stand firm. For you are not standing on the shifting sands of circumstance. You stand upon me, and I will not be moved. In those moments of acute distress, when the pressure is too much and your mind is screaming, something happens. In the quiet after a surge of panic, or in the dead of night when you are wrestling with your fears, a feeling rises unbidden within you. It is not a fully formed thought, but a sense, a deep, internal whisper that says, you can get through this. Sometimes a name even forms on your lips, or a memory of a promise you heard long ago surfaces from the depths. You have dismissed this, haven't you? You have told yourself it is just your own attempt at self-soothing, a psychological mechanism for survival. Your mind creating a comfort that isn't real. But that is not the truth. That is my spirit. calling to your spirit from within the inner room of your soul. I am closer than your own thoughts. Before you were formed, I inscribed my name upon your heart. It is not written in ink, it is woven into the very fiber of your being. It is a permanent part of who you are. So when that comfort rises, when that unexplainable peace settles for a moment, it is not you trying to console yourself. It is I, your comforter, speaking from the command center of your spirit. The world is loud, your fears are loud, the accuser is loud. That is why my voice is a whisper. It does not compete with the noise. It underlies it. It is the steady, quiet hum of truth beneath the static of your anxiety. I do not shout you down. I wait for you to grow weary of the noise, and in the pause, I speak. I invite you now to open your inner ear. Tune your heart to my frequency. When that next wave of fear or loneliness washes over you, do not fight it and do not drown in it. Be still and listen. Listen for the whisper. It will be there. Acknowledge its source. Instead of telling yourself, I'm just trying to calm down, tell me, I hear you. This one small act of recognition changes everything. It turns a coping mechanism into a divine communion. It transforms you from a person trying to survive a storm alone into a child who is being held and reassured by their father. Acknowledge the source of that name, that peace, and you will find the source of your strength. My child, pause here. I have only just begun to show you how I speak in the quiet of your heart. It would grieve me deeply if you were to turn away now, just as you are learning to recognize my whisper. Do not leave this conversation unfinished. There is so much more I must reveal to you. Look around the room. I want you to see that book. You know the one I mean. It might be on your nightstand or on a bookshelf or sitting on your desk. For you, it has become more of a symbol than a source, an artifact of a faith you feel disconnected from. My word is before you, a letter written with profound, personal love and specific guidance for you, yet it remains sealed. Not physically, perhaps, but sealed to your heart. I am in this room, and I am speaking to you now, but I am also speaking through the promises you have left unread on those pages. You are so desperate for answers. You scroll for hours online, searching for an article or a video that will give you a new perspective. You ask friends for advice, hoping they have the solution to your problem. You listen to podcasts and read other books, seeking a formula for peace. You seek answers from the entire world, while my personal correspondence to you gathers dust. My child, I am not hiding the answers from you. I am not making you search for clues. I have already delivered the message. The urgency of this moment is this: the wisdom for the decision you are facing right now, the comfort for the pain you are feeling this very day, the promise for the future you are fearing at this hour. It is contained within those pages. This is not just a collection of ancient stories. It is a living letter. It is my love letter to you. To open immediately is to break the seal of neglect and receive the message I have already sent. I am inviting you to stop treating my word like a chore, a religious duty to be checked off a list. See it for what it is, a direct line of communication from your Creator. The love, peace, and direction you crave are waiting right there. You think you do not have time, but you give your time to so many things that leave you more empty than before. You think it is too complex, but I promise that if you open it with a sincere heart, my Spirit will be your teacher, illuminating the truth you need for this moment. Open it. Don't commit to reading for hours. Just open it. Read one verse. Let one promise sink into your spirit. Let that be the anchor you hold on to today. The conversation we are having now is a beautiful beginning, but the fullness of what I want to say to you is waiting in my written word. Open the letter, my beloved. I am waiting to speak to you through it. My child, I see you. I see the immense effort you expend every single day, trying to clothe yourself. You wake up in the morning, and before your feet even touch the floor, you are in your closet, frantically searching for something to wear. Not clothes for your body, but for your soul. Some days, you choose the garment of perfectionism. It is heavy and stiff, demanding that you perform flawlessly, that you never make a mistake at your job, that you say the perfect thing in every conversation. You wear it all day, and by the evening, you are exhausted from its weight, chafed and bruised by its impossible standards. Other days, you pull on the itchy sweater of people-pleasing, trying to be everything to everyone, terrified of disappointing a single person. You stretch yourself thin, conforming to the shape of others' expectations, until you no longer recognize your own. And then there are the days you wrap yourself in the heavy, dark cloak of your past shame. You drag it behind you, a constant reminder of your failures, believing it is the only thing you deserve to wear. You are trying to clothe yourself in righteousness, in good deeds, in self-worth, hoping that if you can just assemble the right outfit, you will finally feel acceptable, lovable, and worthy. But you are exhausted, aren't you? You are so tired of the performance. My beloved, stop your frantic search. Look at what I have laid out for you. I have already robed you in a garment of grace and forgiveness, and you have not even acknowledged it. I am in the room with you now, not as a critic of your wardrobe, but as the one who has already covered your shame and declared you clean. While you were still trying to stitch together your own flimsy coverings from the scraps of your good intentions, I robed you in a garment woven from the fabric of heaven itself. It is a gift. Feel its texture. It is not heavy, it is as light as my mercy. It is not restrictive, it moves with you, a perfect fit for who I created you to be. It is seamless, for my forgiveness is complete, with no place for a past failure to poke through. It is brilliantly white, washed clean not by your efforts but by my sacrifice. Stop trying to earn the worth I have already bestowed upon you as a free and priceless gift. You cannot add a single thread to it, and you cannot stain it in any way that I cannot make clean again. The constant pressure you feel, the imposter syndrome that tells you you will be found out, that is the feeling of wearing clothes that were never meant for you. I am inviting you to take them off. Right now, in the quiet of this room, mentally remove the heavy cloak of shame. Let it fall to the floor. Take off the itchy sweater of others' expectations. Cast aside the stiff uniform of perfectionism. And now, open your awareness to the forgiveness that envelops you this very moment. It is already on you. You have been wearing it all along, underneath all those other layers. It is not a costume to be worn on special occasions. I want it to become your new, true skin. Live in it. Breathe in it. Let it be the first thing you are aware of in the morning and the last thing you feel at night. When the accuser points a finger at you, your answer is not to defend your own actions, but to point to the garment I have given you. You are clothed in my love. You are robed in my righteousness. Wear it with the quiet confidence of a child who knows they are completely and utterly cherished. Your life is so loud. The clamor is relentless, a storm of noise that begins the moment you wake and only subsides when you fall into an exhausted sleep. I am not just speaking of the audible sounds, but the noise that fills your mind. It is the ping of the notification on your phone, a tiny sound that carries the immense weight of demand and expectation. It is the endless scroll on social media, a torrent of curated lives and angry opinions that leaves your own spirit feeling agitated and inadequate. It is the news, a constant barrage of fear and crisis that makes the world feel like it is spinning out of control. It is the podcast in your car, the music in your ears, the television droning on in the background, a perpetual soundtrack designed to ensure you are never, ever alone with your own thoughts. But I am in the pauses. I am in the brief, fleeting silences that you so desperately try to fill. I am in the moment after you turn off the car engine, but before you open the door. I am in the quiet space between the end of one song and the beginning of the next. I am in the stillness of the early morning, before the world has begun its daily shouting match. You rush to fill every quiet space, don't you? The moment a conversation ends, you reach for your phone. The instant a task is done, you search for the next distraction. You fear the silence. You fear what you might find there. You think you are afraid of boredom, or loneliness, or the anxious thoughts that surface when the distractions fade. But my child, it is I you are afraid of finding. For my presence demands a stillness you have consistently avoided. My voice is not in the earthquake or the fire. It is a still, small voice, and you cannot hear it if your life is a constant storm. You ask for my guidance, you cry out for my peace, but you do not give me the silence in which to answer. You are asking for a whisper in the middle of a rock concert. It is time to lower the volume. I am not asking you to retreat from the world into a monastery. I am asking you for 5 minutes. I am inviting you to find a moment of quiet today and to find me waiting there patiently for you. Turn off the television. Put your phone in another room. Sit down and just be. At first, the inner noise will be deafening. Your anxieties, your to-do lists, your worries will all scream to be heard. Do not fight them. Just let them be and listen for what is underneath them. Listen for the silence. Open the space between your thoughts, and in that space, you will find me. My peace is not an emptiness. It is a presence. It is a fullness that calms the storm inside you. It is the sound of your soul breathing a sigh of relief as it finally comes home to rest. Let my peace be the sound you hear. Give me your silence, and I will give you my clarity. Give me your stillness, and I will give you your strength back. I see how tired you are. Not just the physical tiredness from a lack of sleep, but a weariness that has settled deep in your bones, a profound exhaustion of the soul. You feel you cannot take another step, face another demand, or solve another problem. You are at the end of your rope, running on nothing but fumes, and you are convinced that this time, you truly have nothing left. Yet you have felt this way before, haven't you? Remember that project at work when you were completely burned out, but somehow, you found the energy to finish it. Remember that night with a sick child when you thought you couldn't stay awake another minute, but you did. Remember that devastating news that you believed would break you, but you are still here. In those moments, when you feel you cannot go on, a reserve of strength arises from a place you cannot identify. You have been crediting the wrong source. You call it your own grit, your adrenaline, your willpower, your survival instinct. But that is not your grit, my child. That is my power being made perfect in your weakness. I am in the room with you now as the unseen source of your endurance. You have survived not because you are so strong, but because I am. You look back at your life, and you credit yourself for surviving, but that is a crushing burden to carry. The truth is, I am the one who has been carrying you through. When you were too weak to walk, I carried you. When your heart was too broken to hope, my hope sustained you. When your mind was too clouded to see a way forward, my light illuminated the next small step. Your greatest moments of strength were not when you gritted your teeth and pushed through in your own power. They were the moments when you were so utterly spent that you had no choice but to fall back, and in that falling, You landed in my everlasting arms. I am inviting you to stop striving so hard. The world has taught you that strength is about never showing weakness, never admitting defeat. But my kingdom operates on a different economy. Here, your weakness is not a liability. It is an opening. It is the empty space where my strength can finally rush in and take over. So open your exhaustion to me. Instead of hiding it or fighting it, offer it to me as a sacrifice. The next time you feel that bone-deep weariness, do not just try to power through. Pause. Whisper this truth. I am weak, but you are strong. Let my strength become your own. Cease striving in your own power. You do not have to hold your world together by yourself anymore. You do not have to be the strong one for everyone else. Let go. Fall back. I promise, I will catch you, and you will find that the strength you receive in that surrender is far greater and more resilient than any strength you could ever muster on your own. My beloved child, you live like an orphan. I watch you as you struggle for every scrap of peace, as you strive to earn a moment of joy, as you anxiously guard the little love you have, fearing it will be taken away. You live with a poverty mindset, your spirit hunched over, protecting its meager rations, unaware of the feast that has been prepared for you. You look at others who seem to have lives full of peace and confidence, and you feel a deep ache of envy, a feeling of being on the outside looking in, as if they were born into a wealth you could never attain. You are living as if you are destitute, forgotten, and alone. But I am in the room with you now as your father, and I must tell you the truth of your situation. All that I have is yours. This is not a metaphor. It is your legal and spiritual reality. Peace is not something you have to wrestle from the hands of your chaotic circumstances. It is a core component of your inheritance, waiting for you to claim it. Joy is not a fleeting emotion dependent on good fortune. It is the very atmosphere of my kingdom, and you are a citizen. Love is not a scarce commodity you must beg for. It is the infinite ocean in which you live. Authority over fear and anxiety is not a power you must build up through self-discipline. It is your birthright as a child of the King. You possess a vast spiritual fortune, yet you leave it unclaimed. You are like a person who has inherited a mansion but chooses to live in the crumbling shed out back because it feels more familiar. You have been given the key to the entire estate, but you use it as a simple paperweight, never realizing it can unlock every door to every room filled with every treasure you could ever need. The key to this inheritance is not in earning it. You could not possibly work hard enough to afford it. It is a gift of grace, signed and sealed by the sacrifice of my Son. The key is simply to realize that it is already yours. It is a shift in your identity. I am calling you to open immediately the testament of my love, my word, and read the will. See for yourself what I have bequeathed to you. Your name is written there. Peace, strength, joy, forgiveness, authority, eternal life. It is all yours. So stop living like an orphan. Stop accepting the scraps the world throws you. Open your eyes and see your true status. You are a child of the King. It is time to live as royalty. This does not mean arrogance or entitlement. It means walking with the quiet, unshakable confidence of one who knows they are deeply loved, completely provided for, and absolutely secure. Your Father owns everything, and you, my child, are the heir. We have come to a sacred threshold. I have just unveiled your royal inheritance, and my heart aches at the thought of you walking away before claiming your treasures. Do not stop listening now. To do so is to leave the gift unopened, and the giver waiting. Stay, for I must now teach you how to live in the riches I have given you. My child, you now understand that you are an heir to my kingdom, and the poverty mindset has been broken. If your heart is now stirred by this truth, I am giving you a divine appointment to act not as an orphan, but as royalty. Heirs of my kingdom do not just receive blessings, they steward my resources to expand my territory in the hearts of others. I declare over you, give, and it will be given to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Your giving now becomes a prophetic act, a declaration of your sonship and a channel to send this living water to souls still lost in the desert. Go now. Sow your seed through Super Thanks membership or the link below, and watch me multiply the harvest in your life and in the lives you touch. You are so careful to keep them hidden. I am talking about your deepest wounds, the injuries to your soul that you believe you must heal alone before you can ever be truly seen or loved. You have become an expert at bandaging yourself. You use the bandage of a brave face, pretending you are not hurting. You use the bandage of anger, pushing people away before they can get close enough to see the injury. You use the bandage of constant business, hoping that if you just stay busy enough, you won't have to feel the throbbing pain beneath. You live in fear of the wound being exposed, believing that if anyone, even me, saw the true state of your heart, they would be repulsed. You think you must get better on your own before you can present yourself to me. But my child, that is like a patient telling the surgeon they will perform their own operation first. I am the great physician, and I am already present in this room with you. My gaze is not one of condemnation, but of loving diagnosis. I see the injuries you work so hard to conceal. I see the festering infection of bitterness that has set in. I see the scar tissue of past trauma that has made your heart hard and inflexible. And my heart breaks with love for you, not with judgment. You must understand this. I cannot heal the wounds that you will not expose to my loving gaze. A bandage can hide a wound, but it cannot heal an infection. In fact, left in the darkness, under the bandage of your pride and fear, the wound only gets worse. Your call to open immediately is an urgent invitation from the divine surgeon. It is time to pull back the bandages. Let me see. I know it is frightening. You fear that the rush of air, the exposure to the light, will be excruciating. You fear what I will think when I see the ugliness you have hidden for so long. But my light is not harsh. It is an antiseptic. I trove that not come to condemn, it comes to cleanse. I am asking you to trust me. Let me touch the places that hurt the most. My hands are not clumsy. They are the same hands that foam the mountains and shake the stars. They are infinitely gentle and perfectly skilled. My touch brings restoration, not more pain. The world may have wounded you, and you may have wounded yourself, but I am the one who makes all things new. The healing I offer is not a simple patch. It is a deep, transformative restoration. I do not just close the wound. I rewrite its story. I can take the place of your deepest pain and make it the source of your greatest strength, your most profound compassion, and your most powerful testimony. But it begins with you being brave enough to show me where it hurts. Let me in, my beloved. Let the healing begin now. My child, your soul is parched. I see you stumbling through the desert of your days, your lips cracked and your spirit faint with a thirst you cannot name. You look for relief everywhere. You run towards the mirage of the next purchase, believing that new possession will finally bring you a lasting satisfaction, only to find it is just more shimmering, empty heat. You rush toward the oasis of social media approval, digging frantically for a few drops of validation from the comments of strangers. But the well is shallow and the water is bitter, leaving you thirstier than before. You seek to quench this deep inner thirst with the world's cracked cisterns, the fleeting pleasure of a streaming series, the temporary numbness of food or drink, the hollow echo of worldly success. You fill your life with these things, sipping at them constantly, yet the profound dryness in your spirit remains. This is because the thirst you feel is not for any of those things. The dryness in your spirit is a thirst for me, and only I can satisfy it. I am in this room with you now, not as a distant rain cloud on the horizon, but as the spring of living water bubbling up right at your feet, ready to overflow. You have been diligently digging in the sand with the broken tools of your own effort, trying to create your own well, while a freshwater river is flowing right behind you. The emptiness you are trying to fill is not a flaw in your design. It is a feature. I created you with a sacred thirst, a space within you that only my presence can fill, so that you would eventually grow weary of the desert and seek out your true source of life. And now, you are here. You are weary. You are thirsty, and I am here. Your invitation to open immediately is the simplest one I will ever give you. Open your mouth and ask for a drink. You do not have to journey to find me. You do not have to prove you are worthy of this water. You simply have to acknowledge your thirst and be willing to receive what I freely offer. I will not give you a mere cupful to get you through the next hour. I will give you water so you never thirst again. This is not a metaphor for a feeling. It is a spiritual transaction. When you drink from me, my spirit comes to dwell within you, and he himself becomes an ever-flowing spring inside of you, producing love, joy, and peace from within. The world offers you drops. I offer you a river. The world's pleasures evaporate. My water becomes a permanent, internal oasis. So stop. Stop digging in the sand. Stop chasing the mirage. Turn around. The source of all life is here with you in this room. Let this be the moment you finally taste and see that I am good. Drink deeply, my beloved, and let my life flow into every dry and barren place in your soul. In the quietest part of your heart, there is a holy spark. It is that persistent, nagging sense of conviction when you know you are settling for less than who I created you to be. It is the flash of passion you feel for truth and justice, a righteous anger against the brokenness of the world. It is the deep, restless longing for a life of greater purpose and deeper meaning. This spark is my presence within you, a pilot light of divinity that I placed there. Yet you have tried to extinguish it, haven't you? You pour the water of compromise upon it, telling yourself to be more realistic, to not be so intense. You try to smother it with the wet blanket of distraction, hoping that if you ignore it, the uncomfortable heat will go away. You fear this inner flame. You believe it will burn you, that if you give it any fuel, it will grow into a wildfire that destroys your comfortable life, your relationships, your carefully constructed self-image. But I am in this room with you now as that refining fire, and I must tell you the truth. This fire is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to purify you. The fire of my holy presence is not a destructive force. It is a creative one. Like a blacksmith's forge, its purpose is to burn away the impurities, the dross, so that the precious metal of your true self can be revealed and shaped into something beautiful and strong. You fear that my fire will burn away your personality, but it will only burn away the pride that distorts it. You fear it will consume your happiness, but it will only consume the anxiety and fear that steal your joy. You fear it will destroy your relationships, but it will only burn away the selfishness and insecurity that poison them. The heat you feel when my truth touches a compromised area of your life is not my anger. It is the friction of my love working against your resistance. Open your heart to the warmth of my holiness. Do not fear its heat. I am inviting you to stop running from the fire and to willingly step into the furnace of my love. I know this is a terrifying thought, but remember the story of my servants in the furnace of old. They were not alone in the flames, and I will not leave you alone either. I will be with you in the fire. The flames will not harm you. They will only burn away the ropes that have bound you. This process is not about punishment. It is about liberation. So step in. Surrender that habit you know is holding you back. Release that bitter grudge that is poisoning your soul. Let go of that secret sin you have been protecting in the darkness. Bring it all into the fire of my presence and watch as the dross is consumed, leaving only the pure, shining gold of a heart that reflects my image. Emerge refined, emerge sanctified, emerge more fully and beautifully yourself than you have ever been before. You feel so vulnerable. When you lie down at night, the slightest sound can set your heart racing. You check the locks on the doors, sometimes more than once, trying to create a fortress against the dangers of the world. This feeling of being exposed and fearful is not just about physical safety. It extends to every area of your life. You are anxious about your finances, feeling exposed to the slightest economic shift. You are fearful in your relationships, worried that one wrong word could lead to abandonment. You feel spiritually vulnerable, as if evil is lurking just outside, waiting for a moment of weakness to attack. You are exhausted from this constant state of high alert, from the frantic and unending effort to secure your own safety. My precious sheep, listen to me. I am the Good Shepherd, and I am standing guard in this very room. My watch is not distant or symbolic. I am protecting the entrance to your very soul right now. You must understand that I am not just your protector, I am also the gate. No evil, no threat, no fear can enter this space without my permission. The chaos you see in the world does not have automatic access to your heart. The anxieties that plague your mind are intruders that have slipped past your own worried watch, but they cannot stand against me. Your frantic efforts to secure your own safety are unnecessary and exhausting. You are a sheep, trying to do the shepherd's job. You run around checking the walls of the sheepfold, piling up stones of your own worried plans, while I am already standing in the only opening, staff in hand. Your security does not come from your own vigilance, it comes from my presence. I am your watchman, so I am inviting you to stop. Stop the frantic checking of the locks on your heart. Stop the endless cycle of what-if scenarios that you play out in your mind. Open the door of your trust and let my protective presence be your only lock. Hand me the keys of your anxiety. Surrender the watch to me. I am asking you to do the one thing that feels most vulnerable but is in fact the source of your greatest safety: rest. Lie down in the green pastures of my care. Let your soul be still beside the quiet waters of my peace. Your shepherd neither slumbers nor sleeps. While you are resting, I am watching. While you are sleeping, I am guarding. The wolves of this world, fear, lack, sickness, evil, may circle the fold, but they cannot get past me. I have laid down my life for you. I will not now abandon you to your fears. So breathe, my beloved. Let the tension leave your body. You are safe. You are protected. You are eternally secure. Rest now, for the watch is mine. From where you are standing, I know what your life looks like. You see a mess of tangled threads, a chaos of knots and loose ends. You see the dark, ugly thread of a past mistake that you cannot seem to undo. You see the frayed, broken thread of a painful relationship. You see a confusing jumble of colors, threads of joy tangled up with threads of sorrow, threads of success knotted with threads of failure, and none of it seems to make any sense. You look at the tapestry of your life, and you see only chaos, randomness, and regret. You are convinced that you have ruined the pattern, that your mistakes and the painful things that have happened to you have made a wreck of what was supposed to be a beautiful design. But my child, you must understand, you are looking at the wrong side of the tapestry. I am in this room with you as the master weaver, and my hands have never left the loom. With every event of your life, I have been purposefully and skillfully weaving all things together for your good. From your perspective, you see only the messy underside of my work. You see the knots required to change colors, the necessary mess of securing one thread to begin another. It looks chaotic because you cannot see the image I am creating on the other side. Every single thread, every color, every knot serves my divine purpose. The dark thread of your deepest pain. From my side, I am using it to create the rich shadow that will make the bright colors of my joy shine even more brilliantly. A tangled knot of your greatest failure. I am using it to weave a stunning, intricate pattern of my redemption and grace that will become a central point of the entire design. The seemingly random threads of confusion and waiting. They are being woven into a background of patience and endurance that will make the entire masterpiece more beautiful and strong. You have been trying to be the weaver, haven't you? You keep reaching around to the back, grabbing at the threads, trying to untangle the knots yourself, trying to snip out the threads you don't like. But in doing so, you are only hindering the work of the artist. I am inviting you now to open your perspective. Trust that a beautiful, coherent, and magnificent design is being woven, even if you cannot see it yet. Release your grip on the threads. Let go of your need to understand every knot. Stop pulling at the thread of regret. Your job is not to weave, your job is to trust the weaver. Allow me to complete my masterpiece. One day, you will see the tapestry of your life from my perspective, from the top side. And on that day, you will be breathless with wonder. You will see how every event, every joy, every sorrow, and every tear was woven together to create a work of art more glorious than you could ever have imagined. You are standing with me now, seeing the purpose behind the tangled threads of your life. To leave at this moment would be to choose the memory of the chaos over the promise of the masterpiece. My spirit is heavy at the thought of you not seeing what I see. Please remain with me. I am about to show you the other side of the tapestry. The storm is raging, isn't it? I am not talking about the weather outside, but the tempest inside your own heart and mind. The winds of circumstance, a difficult diagnosis, a financial crisis, a conflict at home, are howling with terrifying force. The waves of emotion, fear, grief, anger, panic are crashing over the sides of your small boat, threatening to capsize you at any moment. You feel utterly out of control, tossed about on a violent sea, your knuckles white as you grip the sides, convinced you are about to go under. You feel adrift, lost, at the mercy of the chaos. But that is a feeling, not a fact. The truth is, I am in the room of your turmoil with you now. I am the anchor, steadfast and sure, holding you fast even as the storm rages. You are not adrift. You are tethered to a reality far more stable than your turbulent feelings. My hope is the anchor for your soul. You cannot see it, just as a sailor cannot see the anchor once it has been cast. You cannot see me with your physical eyes, holding you secure in the depths. The anchor does its work unseen, deep beneath the churning surface, lodged in the immovable bedrock of my faithfulness and my promises. You must understand how an anchor works, my child. It does not stop the storm. The winds will still blow, and the waves will still crash. The boat will still be tossed about. The purpose of the anchor is not to calm the sea, but to keep the boat from being dashed against the rocks of despair or swept away by the currents of hopelessness. Your peace does not come from the storm ceasing. Your peace comes from knowing you are securely anchored in the storm. You have been fighting the storm. You have been trying to row against the wind, to bail out the waves, exhausting yourself in a futile battle against the elements. I am asking you to stop fighting the storm and instead become aware of the anchor. Feel the pull. Even as your boat rises and falls on the massive waves, there is a constant, steady tautness on the line. That is me. That is my unyielding grip on you. That is the proof that you are not going to be swept away. Open your spirit to my stability. The next time a wave of panic crashes over you, instead of screaming at the wave, turn your attention to the anchor line. Mentally grab hold of that connection to me and hold on. You will still feel the movement of the storm, but you will know you are safe. You will ride out this tempest, not because of the strength of your boat or the skill of your sailing, but because of the unshakable weight and absolute reliability of your anchor. The silence in this room is deafening at times, isn't it? You perceive it as a confirmation of your deepest fear, that you are fundamentally and irrevocably alone. This is not just the loneliness of an empty house. It is a loneliness that can find you in a crowded room, at a family gathering, or even lying next to someone you love. It is the profound ache of feeling unseen, unknown, and misunderstood. You believe the silence is proof of my absence, a sign that I have left you to navigate your struggles by yourself. But I am here, my child, and I am the ultimate companion. I am the one who fills the silence not with noise, but with a presence deeper and more intimate than any words. You must understand, your loneliness is not the evidence of my abandonment. It is an invitation for you to discover the unique and perfect companionship that only I can offer. Think of the people in your life, even those you love most dearly. They cannot be with you in every moment. They cannot hear the silent conversations you have in your own mind. They cannot fully grasp the intricate history of your joys and your pains that shape your reactions to this very day. There is a place deep within you, an inner chamber of your heart, that no human being can ever fully enter or understand. They can stand at the door, they can call your name, but they cannot cross the threshold. That sacred, innermost space was designed for me alone. The loneliness you feel is the echo of that empty room, a holy ache that calls out for its intended occupant. I am the one who was there for your first breath, and I will be there for your last. I have been present for every secret victory you could share with no one and every hidden shame you thought was yours alone to bear. I know why you flinch at a certain tone of voice. I know the memory that triggers your sudden sadness. I know the dreams you hold that you have never spoken aloud. I know you, not just the version of you that you present to the world, but the real, unfiltered, beautifully complex you. I am asking you now to open the deepest chamber of your heart to the one who was designed to fill it. Stop seeing your solitude as a curse and begin to see it as an opportunity for the deepest communion you will ever know. When the feeling of loneliness washes over you, do not immediately reach for a distraction. Instead, turn inward and speak to me. Acknowledge my presence in that quiet room of your soul. Say, I know you are here with me. Let my presence be the companionship that steadies you. Unlike human friends, I never grow weary. I am never too busy, and I will never turn away. You are not alone, my beloved. You are simply unaware of the one who had been walking beside you, in perfect, silent solidarity, all along. I invite you to look inside, past the noise and the busyness, into the throne room of your own heart. It is the control center of your life, the place where your decisions, priorities, and deepest allegiances are determined. There is a throne in that room, and someone is always sitting on it. For too long, you have allowed other powers to rule your life. These are the usurpers, the illegitimate rulers who have seized control, and their reign has brought chaos to your kingdom. Some days, you find King Fear on the throne. He promises you safety and security, but his rule creates a prison. His laws are the endless what-ifs. His decrees are anxious thoughts. He surrounds you with the guards of avoidance and procrastination, and under his reign, your world shrinks, and your spirit withers. Other times, you enthrone Queen Ambition. She wears a dazzling crown of success and approval. She promises you worth and recognition if you just work harder, achieve more, and never, ever stop. But she is a merciless tyrant, demanding every ounce of your energy, your time, and your peace, leaving you perpetually exhausted and feeling like you are never enough. You have also let pride, desire, and the tyranny of other people's opinions take their turn on the throne, and each has made promises it could not keep, leaving your inner kingdom in a state of turmoil. My child, I am in this room with you now, the rightful king, waiting patiently for you to grant me sovereignty. The throne of your heart was not meant to be empty, nor was it designed to hold these cruel usurpers. It was built for me. The constant anxiety, the inner conflict, the lack of peace you experience, this is the natural result of a kingdom without its true and benevolent ruler. You have been trying to manage the chaos yourself, running from one mismanaged department to another, but you are not the king. You are a citizen of the kingdom, and your life flourishes only when the true king is acknowledged and obeyed. So I am calling you to a coronation. It is time to peacefully and purposefully evict the false rulers. Open the gates of your will. In the quiet of your heart, see fear, ambition, and pride step down. They have no legitimate claim to your throne. Then, invite me to ascend. Bend the knee, not in the humiliation of defeat, but in the glorious relief of surrender and allegiance. Hand me the scepter of your will. This is an act of trust, a declaration that you will no longer try to run your own life, but will instead live under my loving and wise authority. My rule does not bring restriction, it brings freedom. My law is not one of heart demands, it is the law of love. When I am on the throne of your heart, peace is your chief advisor, joy is your treasury, and my strength is the garrison that guards your walls. The chaos will subside when the true king is acknowledged and obeyed. There is a feeling that haunts you, a constant, nagging sense that you do not quite belong here. It can surface in moments of profound beauty, a breathtaking sunset, a soaring piece of music, and in that moment, your heart aches with a longing for a beauty that is even more real, more permanent. It can also surface in moments of deep sorrow, in the face of injustice, loss, or the brokenness of the world, and your soul cries out, "This is not how things are supposed to be." This feeling, this divine homesickness, is not a sign that there is something wrong with you. It is a sign that your spirit is healthy and functioning exactly as I designed it. I am in this room with you now as a living reminder of the truth your spirit has never forgotten. Your true home is in eternity with me. This world is not your final destination. It is a temporary dwelling, a foreign land you are traveling through. You are a pilgrim, a sojourner, an ambassador from a different and better country. The deep, persistent longing in your soul is a compass I placed there at your creation. Its needle is permanently magnetized, and it points, always and forever, toward home, toward me. The world tries to offer you things to satisfy this homesickness. It offers you success, relationships, experiences, and possessions, promising that these things will finally make you feel like you belong. And for a little while, they might seem to work. But eventually, the longing returns, because you are trying to build a permanent home in a temporary land. You are trying to quench an eternal thirst with temporary water. My child, do not be alarmed by your homesickness. Do not try to numb it or medicate it away. Instead, I invite you to open your heart to your true identity. You are a citizen of my kingdom. Your passport has been stamped with the seal of my spirit. Your name is registered in the halls of heaven. This changes everything. It means that the trials and pains of this world are not the final word. They are the troubles of the road, not the reality of your destination. It means that your ultimate security does not depend on the stability of this world's economies or the faithfulness of its people, but on the unshakable reality of your true home. Let the reality of your eternal home inform how you live in this temporary one. Live as an ambassador, representing the values of your King: love, grace, mercy, and hope. Do not cling too tightly to the things of this world. Hold them lightly, for you are just passing through. And when that ache of homesickness comes, do not despair. Let it be a joyful reminder that you were made for another place, for my place, and that one day you will arrive, and every fiber of your being will finally exclaim, "I am home." I see how you view yourself. You look in the mirror, and you see a misshapen thing, flawed and scarred by the pressures of life. You feel broken. You carry the memory of that failure that left a deep crack in your confidence. You feel the distorted shape left by the harsh words or actions of another. You are acutely aware of the lumps of weakness in your character, the areas that are not smooth or strong, the parts of you that you desperately try to hide, believing you are a flawed vessel, perhaps even beyond repair. You see yourself as a finished product that did not turn out right. But I do not see you that way. You see, you are not a finished product at all. You are the clay, and I am the potter. My hands are upon you in this very room, and you are on my wheel. The process is not over. In fact, it is happening right now. The pressures you feel, which you have interpreted as punishment or a sign of your own failure, are my hands. They are my loving, skillful, purposeful hands, shaping you into a vessel of honor and profound purpose. The spinning of the wheel, that feeling of dizziness and disorientation when your life feels out of control, is not chaos. It is the necessary motion for me to work. The pressure from my thumb that causes you discomfort is me smoothing out a lump of pride. The steady pressure from my palms that feels confining is me giving you the strength and structure you will need to hold the blessings I intend to pour into you. The moments I seem to stop the wheel and scrape something away are the moments I am removing a flaw that would cause you to break under future pressure. I see not your flaws. I see the beautiful creation you are becoming. In my mind's eye, your final form is already complete, and it is glorious. It is a vessel perfectly designed to be filled with my spirit, a masterpiece crafted to bring me glory. Do not resist my touch. I know that sometimes the pressure hurts. I know that the constant spinning can be nauseating. But the clay cannot shape itself. If you stiffen in my hands, if you resist the movement of the wheel, you will only become marred and off-center. But if you yield, if you remain soft and pliable, if you trust the hands of the one who made you, the process will be perfect. So I am inviting you to open yourself to my shaping. When you feel the pressure of a trial, instead of crying out, "Why is this happening to me?" whisper, "Lord, what are you shaping in me?" When your world feels like it is spinning, do not grasp for control. Instead, rest in the knowledge that you are being held securely on the center of my will. Yield to me, my beloved clay, and I will make you into a masterpiece. My hands are upon you even now, shaping you on the wheel. If you pull away, the clay of your heart will grow hard, and the beautiful vessel I envision will remain unfinished. Do not wound me by rejecting my touch in the middle of this sacred work. Let me continue. The most beautiful part of my design is yet to come. Because you are yielding to my potter's hands, I am shaping you into a vessel of honor, fit for my use. If you feel my hands shaping you for a greater purpose, know that a vessel is not made to remain empty. It is made to be filled and poured out. I am calling you now to become a channel through which my anointing oil flows to others who are broken and in need of my touch. As you honor me with the first fruits of your increase, I will cause your storehouses to be filled with plenty. Your gift places you on the lampstand, allowing this light to reach the darkest corners of the earth. Act now. Pour out your gift through Super Thanks membership with a sacred link in the description, and be consecrated for my purpose. When all is finally quiet, when the distractions of the day have receded, what is it that you hear? For many, the silence is not silent at all. It is filled with the high-pitched ringing of their own anxiety, the relentless buzz of a mind that will not switch off. Or perhaps worse, you hear the void of nothingness, a deep, resonant emptiness that terrifies you with its implications of a meaningless, godless universe. You have come to associate silence with these sounds, the sounds of fear and emptiness. But that is because you have not yet learned how to truly listen. I am the symphony playing in the background of your reality, a melody of peace and purpose that you have not yet tuned your ear to hear. You have been focused on the static, on the noise between stations, but the music hath been playing all along. My entire creation sings a constant, harmonious song of praise, a divine music available to all who will learn to listen. The steady, rhythmic beat of your own heart is the percussion section, a constant reminder of the life I sustain within you. The wind rustling the leaves outside your window is the string section, playing a gentle, soothing adagio of my peace. The laughter of a child down the street, the cheerful song of a bird at dawn. These are the soaring, beautiful melodies of my joy. The universe is vibrating with my glory, from the majestic hum of distant galaxies down to the intricate dance of the cells in your own body. It is all one magnificent symphony, and its composer is me. I am inviting you now to open your spiritual senses. You must learn to listen with the ears of your heart. The next time you find a moment of quiet, do not brace yourself for the onslaught of anxiety or the terror of the void. Instead, intentionally choose to listen for my music. Be still. Listen past the frantic chatter of your own thoughts. What do you hear? Hear the hum of the refrigerator, the creak of the house settling. These are not random noises. They are the ambient sounds of the world I am holding together. Hear the sound of your own breathing, the in and out that is a duet between your body and my sustaining spirit. As you learn to tune your inner ear to this frequency, the frequency of my presence, something miraculous will happen. The static of your anxiety will begin to fade. The harmony of my peace will begin to fill your soul. You will realize you are not just a listener to this cosmic symphony, you are a part of it. Your life is a unique and irreplaceable instrument, and your purpose is to play your part in harmony with your Creator. Be still, and you will hear the song of your Creator in the quiet of this room. My child, let us speak of the garden of your inner life, the soil of your very soul. You look within, and you are discouraged by what you see. For some, it is a barren wasteland, a patch of dry, cracked earth where nothing seems to grow. You have tried to cultivate faith and joy, but the ground is too hard, and you have given up, concluding you are simply not the kind of person who can flourish. For others, the garden is an overgrown thicket of weeds. The weeds of bad habits, of anger, of jealousy, of negative thinking have grown so dense and tangled that they have choked out all the light. You hack away at them, trying to break free, but for every one you cut, two more seem to spring up in its place. You are exhausted by the upkeep, and you feel hopeless. I am the divine gardener, and I am present in this room with you now. I have not abandoned your garden. I am here, sleeves rolled up, hands ready to tend the soil of your soul. I see the barren places, and I am not discouraged. I see the weeds and I am not overwhelmed. The growth you long for cannot happen without my diligent and loving care. You have been trying to be your own gardener, and it has worn you out. You try to pull the weeds of sin on your own, but you only snap them off at the surface, leaving the deep and bitter roots of pride and hurt intact. I, however, see the root system, and I have the strength to pull it out completely. You look at the fruitful parts of your life and you are afraid of the pruning shears, but I see the branches of good things that are actually draining the life from you. The ambitions, relationships, and comforts that are sapping your spiritual vitality and preventing you from bearing the most beautiful fruit. My pruning is not punishment. It is an act of intimate love, designed to focus your life on what matters most. You feel the spiritual dryness, the apathy, the hard ground of your heart, and you do not know how to fix it. But I come with the living water of my word and my spirit, ready to soften the soil and bring life where there has only been dust. I am asking you to open the gates of your garden to me. You have kept them locked, perhaps out of shame over its condition, or perhaps out of a stubborn need to prove you can manage it on your own. But you cannot. Grant me full access. Give me permission to get my hands dirty in the soil of your heart. Allow me to pull the weeds, even the ones you have grown fond of. Trust me when I bring the shears to prune, knowing that it is for the sake of a greater harvest. Let me turn the desert of your heart into a flourishing paradise. Where there is now the weed of bitterness, I will plant the flower of forgiveness. Where there is the thorn of anxiety, I will cultivate the fruit of peace. I will turn the hard, barren ground into a place of beauty, order, and life. Your soul was meant to be a garden where I could walk with you in the cool of the day. Let us begin this work together, now. In the silent courtroom of your mind, the trial never seems to end. The voice of the accuser is loud, relentless, and persuasive. He is a masterful prosecutor, and he has a thick file of evidence against you. Day and night, he makes his case. He projects your past failures onto the screen of your memory, replaying your worst moments in vivid detail. He cross-examines your motives, twisting your best intentions into something selfish and ugly. He calls witnesses, the memories of people you have hurt, the echo of your own broken promises. His voice is the one that whispers, "You are a fraud. You call yourself a believer, but look at what you did. You will never change. If anyone knew the real you, they would reject you. You are disqualified. You have listened to this prosecutor for so long that you have come to believe him. You have accepted his accusations as the final verdict. You live under a constant, low-grade sense of guilt and condemnation, always trying to make up for your past, always feeling like you are on spiritual parole. But my beloved, you are listening to the wrong lawyer. I am in this room with you now, and I am your advocate, Jesus Christ, and I am pleading your case before the throne of the Father. You must understand the nature of my defense. When the accuser points to your sin, I do not deny it. I do not make excuses for you. My defense is infinitely more powerful. I stand before the judge and I present my own nail-scarred hands. I point to my side. I declare, the penalty for every accusation in that file has been paid in full. My blood has already satisfied the demands of justice. The case is closed. The accusations against you have been legally and eternally silenced by my sacrifice. You are listening to a prosecutor whose case has been dismissed by the highest court in the universe. He is operating illegally, bringing up charges for which the sentence has already been served. He has no authority, no standing, and no power over you, unless you give it to him by believing his lies. So I am commanding you now, stop giving the accuser your attention. When he begins his prosecution, do not engage in the argument. Do not try to defend yourself. You do not have to. Your advocate has already won. Open your ears instead to my voice of advocacy, which speaks a better word over you. Where the accuser shouts guilty, I whisper forgiven. Where he screams condemned, I declare righteous. Where he hisses disqualified, I proclaim chosen and beloved. Rest in the verdict I have already won on your behalf. The gavel has fallen. The case has been dismissed. The judge has declared you not guilty. Walk out of that courtroom of condemnation. Breathe the free air of my grace. Your trial is over. It is time to start living in the reality of your acquittal. You spend so much time looking at your reflection. You look in the literal mirror and see the flaws, the signs of aging, the features you wish were different, the body that does not meet the world's impossible standards. But the mirrors you look into most often are not made of glass. You look into the mirror of your past mistakes, and it reflects an image of failure and regret. You look into the mirror of social comparison, scrolling through the lives of others, and it reflects an image of inadequacy, of someone who is always falling short. You look into the mirror of other people's opinions, defining yourself by their praise or their criticism, and it reflects a constantly shifting, unstable image of who you are. These are all funhouse mirrors. They are designed by the world and the enemy to show you a distorted caricature of yourself, a reflection that emphasizes every flaw and magnifies every weakness. And you have been staring into these mirrors for so long that you have begun to believe the twisted image you see is the truth. You believe you are the sum of your mistakes. You believe you are less than others. You believe you are what other people say you are. My child, I am in this room with you now, and I am holding up a different mirror. It is a perfect mirror, flawless and true, and it does not reflect what you have done or what the world says you are. It reflects who you truly are in me. I invite you to step away from the distorted mirrors and to look, for a moment, into mine. Look. What do I see? I do not see a failure. I see my child, forgiven and redeemed. I do not see weakness. I see a vessel perfectly suited for my strength to shine through. I do not see someone flawed and unlovable. I see the one for whom I was willing to give everything. When you look into the mirror of my presence and my word, the reflection you see is dazzling. It is the image of a saint, not because of your perfection, but because of my cleansing. It is the image of a new creation, where the old has gone and the new has come. It is the image of someone who is chosen, redeemed, beloved, and holy. The world's reflection is based on your performance. My reflection is based on my promise. The world's image changes with your circumstances. My image of you is eternal and unshakable. Open your eyes, my beloved, and see yourself through my gaze of unconditional, unending love. The lies you have believed about yourself are so deeply ingrained that this true reflection may feel foreign, even unbelievable. But it is the most real thing about you. Your identity is not up for debate. It was settled on the cross. I'm asking you to make a choice. Which mirror will you believe? Will you continue to stare at the distorted reflections that only bring you shame and insecurity? Or will you choose to gaze into the mirror of my grace until the true image is burned into your soul? See the saint I see, not the sinner you believe yourself to be. You are standing in a dense, dark forest, and you are paralyzed. The fog of uncertainty is so thick you cannot see more than an inch in front of your face. You are terrified of the future. You have a monumental decision to make about your career, your family, or your health, and the weight of it is crushing you. You are paralyzed by the fear of choosing the wrong path, of making a mistake that could have devastating consequences. So you stand still, frozen by analysis paralysis, believing that it is safer to do nothing than to take a step in the wrong direction. You desperately try to map out the entire forest. You strain your eyes, trying to see the destination. You try to calculate every possible route, to anticipate every obstacle, to control every variable. But this only increases your anxiety because the future is unknowable and the forest remains dark. My child, you have the wrong strategy. You are trying to be the map maker, but I am not just your guide. I am the way, the truth, and the life. Your safety is not found in having a perfect map, but in holding the hand of the one who knows the entire forest like the back of his hand. You do not need to see the entire staircase to the top of the mountain. You only need to see the very next step that I am illuminating for you. My word is a lamp unto your feet and a light unto your path. Notice, it is not a floodlight that illuminates the whole valley. It is a lamp, designed to cast a pool of light right where you are, showing you just enough to take your next step with confidence. I guide you this way intentionally. If I showed you the entire journey at once, you would be overwhelmed by the mountains you have to climb and the valleys you have to cross. Or, you would become prideful, believing you had the map and no longer needed to depend on me. My guidance is designed for a relationship of moment-by-moment trust. So I am asking you now to stop. Stop straining to see the distant horizon. Stop worrying about the path a mile from here. Lower your gaze from the terrifying, unknown future and look down at your feet. I am casting a gentle light on the ground right in front of you. I am showing you the one, small, next right thing. It may not feel like a grand, strategic move. It may be as simple as making that phone call you have been dreading. It may be speaking a word of kindness to someone who has hurt you. It may be taking a small step to care for your body. It may be opening my word and reading a single promise. Open your will to take the one step I am showing you right now, in this room. Trust me, as you place your foot on that illuminated spot, the lamp will move with you, and the next step will be revealed. This is how you walk with me, not by sight but by faith, not with a map, but with a guide. Stop trying to find the path, just follow me. We are walking together, and I have just illuminated the very next step on your path. It pains my heart to think you would choose to stand still in the darkness after I have promised to be your light. To stop listening now is to refuse the way forward. Take my hand. Your destination of true peace and rest is just ahead. You toil and you strive. Your life is a blur of activity, a relentless pursuit of productivity. You believe that your value is intrinsically tied to what you accomplish, to how much you can check off your to-do list by the end of the day. You live by the creed of the hustle culture, telling yourself that rest is a luxury you cannot afford, a destination you might reach only after all the work is finally finished. You dream of a future vacation, of retirement, of a day when the pressure will finally be off, and then, you tell yourself, then you will rest. But that day never seems to arrive. The finish line keeps moving. And so you continue to toil, carrying the heavy, crushing yoke of self-reliance and performance, and your soul has forgotten what true rest even feels like. My child, you are looking for rest in the wrong place and at the wrong time. I am the Sabbath rest, and my presence is not a future reward for your labor. I am present with you in the very midst of your work, in the center of your burdens. True rest is not the absence of work, it is the presence of me within it. You have been trying to earn your rest, but rest is a gift I am offering you right now. Remember my invitation, the one that has echoed through the ages. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. It is an invitation for this very moment. It is for you, the one with the overflowing inbox, the one with the demanding family, the one whose mind races with obligations at 3 in the morning. Come to me. That is the first step. It is a conscious turning of your attention from your tasks to me. Now, take the next step. Take my yoke upon you. You are already wearing a yoke, but it is one you have made for yourself, and it is heavy and ill-fitting. It is the yoke of proving your worth. I am asking you to trade it. My yoke is easy, and my burden is light. Why? Because you are not pulling the load alone. I am yoked with you, carrying the majority of the weight. Your work is transformed from a solo, desperate struggle into a peaceful, powerful partnership. Open your labor to me. Invite me into your work, and it will cease to be toil and will instead become a form of worship. Before you answer that difficult email, pause and acknowledge my presence. As you care for your family, do it with the awareness that you are partnering with me. When you face that overwhelming project, consciously hand the weight of it over to me. This is how you find rest for your soul, not in a future you are striving to create, but in my presence, right now. My child, let us talk about the war being waged inside the fortress of your mind. You feel it every day, don't you? Your thoughts race, a relentless storm of what-ifs and worst-case scenarios that steal your focus and drain your energy. It is the 3 a.m. assault, when a small worry about your finances or your family's well-being grows into a terrifying monster in the darkness. It is the constant, low-grade static of anxiety that plays in the background of your day, making it impossible for you to be fully present in any given moment. You try to fight back. You tell yourself to just stop worrying. You try to distract yourself with noise and activity. You attempt to build walls of logic against the tide of irrational fears. But you feel like you are losing the battle. Your own thoughts have become your enemy, and your mind, which was meant to be a sanctuary of peace and creativity, has become a battlefield. You are trying to be your own soldier and your own general in a war you cannot win alone. But I am here. I am the Prince of Peace, and my peace is not a passive, fragile feeling. It is a powerful, active, military force. I am here to do more than just comfort you. I am here to stand guard at the gates of your heart and mind. The peace I give is not as the world gives. The world's peace is the absence of conflict, a temporary ceasefire that depends on everything going well. My peace is a supernatural calm that transcends understanding, a fortress that stands strong even when the world around you is in chaos. It is the garrison I will station at the gates of your mind to protect you from the inside out. But there is a divine exchange that must take place. I will not force my guard upon you. You must invite him in. You must surrender your anxious thoughts to me in prayer and supplication. Think of it this way: every anxious thought, every what-if, is an enemy soldier arriving at the gate of your mind, demanding entry. Your current strategy is to argue with the soldier or try to fight him yourself, which is exhausting and often futile. I am offering you a different strategy. When that anxious thought arrives, you are not to engage it. Instead, you are to turn to the divine sentinel I have posted at your gate, my peace, and hand the enemy over to him. You do this through prayer. You take that specific fear about your job, and you hand it to me. You take that worry about your child's future, and you surrender it to my care. You do this with thanksgiving, not because you are thankful for the problem, but because you are thankful that I am the one who is now in charge of it. As you do this, as you hand over your worries one by one, my peace, the guard, stands his post. He does not allow those anxieties to enter the city, to pillage your joy, and to burn down your hope. The enemy may still shout from outside the walls, but he cannot get in. Surrender your anxious thoughts, and let me garrison your mind. Let my peace be the mighty fortress that surrounds your inner world, creating a space of quiet, safety, and clarity from which you can live and move and breathe, no matter what storms may rage outside the walls. You look at the world, and you see chaos. You watch the news, and it appears to be a series of random, tragic, and often cruel events. You look at your own life, and you see the unpredictable nature of sickness, the fickle heart of man, the sheer chance of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. This perception has planted a seed of deep dread in your soul, the feeling that you are living in a random, meaningless universe, subject to the whims of fickle fate. You begin to believe that nothing is truly reliable, that promises are made to be broken, and that hope is a naive and childish fantasy. Your heart longs for certainty, but your eyes see only chaos. My child, you are looking at the surface of things. I am in this room with you now, and I am the ultimate promise keeper. I am the one whose covenants are the very structure upon which reality is built. You believe in the law of gravity, don't you? You do not wake up each morning fearing you might float off into space. You trust it implicitly. It is a fundamental law that holds your world together. I want you to understand that my promise to you is more fundamental, more reliable, and more real than the law of gravity. My promise to never leave you nor forsake you is a spiritual law that binds the universe with greater force than any physical one. The cosmos is not chaos, it is a cosmos. It is an intricate, ordered reality held together by the integrity of my word. The planets do not spin randomly. They follow the precise orbital paths I laid out for them. The DNA in your cells does not assemble by chance. It follows a complex and beautiful code that I authored. All of history is not a random series of events. It is a story that I am writing, and it is bending inexorably toward the fulfillment of my ultimate promises to my children. Now, bring this down from the cosmic to the intensely personal. The same unshakable faithfulness that holds the stars in place is the faithfulness that underpins my every promise to you. The same infinite power that fuels the sun is the power that guarantees I am working all things together for your good. The world's promises are flimsy and conditional. A person promises to love you, but their feelings change. A job promises you security, but the company downsizes. Your own body promises you health, but it is fragile. You have been building your hope on these shifting sands, and that is why your inner world feels so unstable. Open your heart to the certainty of my word in a world of uncertainty. Your hope is not wishful thinking. It is not a desperate gamble against the odds. Your hope is a sure and steadfast anchor for your soul, because it is based on the unbreakable integrity of the one who promised. Stand on my word. He is firmer ground than the earth itself. For you, and for so many of my children, faith has become a funeral march. It is a solemn, joyless duty, a heavy-footed trudge through a long list of rules and obligations. You live in a state of grim determination, constantly worried about messing up, forever focused on your own spiritual performance. You approach me with a sense of heaviness, as if you are entering the presence of a stern and perpetually disappointed taskmaster. The background music of your spiritual life is a somber dirge, not a joyful anthem. You believe that joy is a future reward, something you might experience in heaven if you are good enough here on earth. But my child, you have misunderstood the very nature of my heart. I am in this room with you now, but I am not here with a clipboard and a critical eye. I am here with the fatted calf, and the ring, and the robe. The party for your return had been waiting to start. Do you remember the story I told about the son who ran away? He squandered his inheritance, shamed his family, and ended up broken and destitute in a pigsty. When he finally decided to come home, he was filled with dread. He rehearsed his speech of apology, planning to beg his father to hire him as a servant. He was on that same solemn, dutiful funeral march that you are on now, convinced that he had to earn his way back into a place of grim servitude. But what happened? While he was still a long way off, his father saw him. And his father was not tapping his foot with impatience or preparing a lecture. His father was filled with compassion. He ran. He threw his arms around his son and kissed him. He did not even let him finish his speech. Instead, he shouted for a celebration. Bring the best robe. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Kill a fatted calf. Let us celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. My beloved, you are that son, and I am that father. I am running to meet you. Stop your solemn march and look up. I am not here to condemn you. I am here to celebrate you. The angels in heaven rejoice over one sinner who repents, and that celebration is for you, right now. My presence is not one of condemnation, but of joyous, prodigal welcome. Open the door to celebration. It is time to take off the rags of your self-condemnation and let me clothe you in the fine robe of my righteousness. It is time to accept the ring of sonship, which gives you full authority and belonging in my family. It is time to come inside and join the feast. The music is playing. The banquet is prepared. All of heaven is waiting. Embrace the joy of your salvation, for your Father is running to meet you. You think of this moment as just another point in time, another second ticking away on the relentless clock, fleeting and ultimately insignificant in the grand scheme of things. You experience your life as a frantic rush from the past, which is filled with regret, toward a future, which is filled with anxiety. The present moment is merely a frantic and narrow bridge between the two, a space you rarely occupy with any true awareness. You compartmentalize your existence. There is your real life, your job, your chores, your problems, and then there is your spiritual life, something you hope to focus on later, on a Sunday, or perhaps after you retire, or in the life that comes after this one. You think of eternal life as something that begins only after you die. But my child, you have misunderstood the nature of time and the nature of eternity. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. I am the great I am. I exist outside of the linear time you experience. And when I am present with you, as I am right now in this very room, my presence makes this ordinary space the very doorstep of eternity. To open the door to me now is not just for a momentary blessing or a temporary fix for your current problem. It is an invitation to begin your eternal life. You see, forever is not just a very long time. It is a different quality of time, a different dimension of living that is found only in me. It is a life saturated with my presence, my peace, and my purpose. It is the life your soul was created for, and it does not have to wait. The urgent call to open immediately is the most profound invitation I can offer. It is an invitation to step out of the frantic, shallow stream of what the world calls time, and to step into the deep, rich, and present ocean of my time. This is how you begin your forever now. When you stop your anxious striving and simply become still and aware of my presence with you, you are stepping onto the doorstep of eternity. When you open my word and a promise comes alive in your heart, you are tasting the eternal. When you offer a simple act of love in my name, you are participating in the work of eternity. Forever is not a future destination. It is a present reality that you can enter at any moment by turning your full attention to me. So, open the door of this present moment. On the other side is not just a solution for today, but the beginning of a life that will never end. This is not the end of our conversation. This is the beginning of a conversation that will continue for all of forever. Your life with me does not start when you die. It starts now. My child, if you now understand that your forever with me has begun, then your perspective on time and resources must change. I am giving you a sacred opportunity in this moment to store up treasure at heaven by investing in what is eternal, the souls of men and women. Your gift becomes a firebrand, taken from the altar of your heart to send this fire of my presence into hearts still cold and dark. Do not see this as a payment, but as your first act of worship in the eternal life you have just begun. And I, your God, will supply all your needs according to my glorious riches. Do not delay. Answer this eternal call through Super Thanks membership, or the link below, and begin your forever by investing in forever. My child, do not let this sacred moment pass like a fleeting whisper. Seal what we have shared with an unbreakable act of faith. I am in the room with you, and now I wait for your reply. Go to the space below and make your declaration for all the heavens to witness. Write with unwavering conviction, I am opening the door right now. Let this be your testimony that you have heard my voice and that this room is no longer empty. Amen. If you believe in me, your Heavenly Father, then like this video and leave a heartfelt amen in the comments. If you want to stay closer to me, then subscribe to this channel.